President Trump says will be in his cabinet if elected.
Oh, he's going to be a part of it. He had a big impact because he's very much into women's health, and he's very much into the environment, which a lot of people like. People really like him.
The former Democrat and independent presidential candidate has been helping the Trump campaign. This comes as Vice President Harris said on The View she would put a Republican in her cabinet if elected president.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz in Washington. A lot of people apparently eager to vote. Both North Carolina and Georgia, two of the states considered key battlegrounds, breaking records this week for the first day of early voting. A NATO meeting in Brussels focusing in part on Ukraine, whose president wants NATO membership as part of a plan to defeat Russia.
The victory plan is President Zelensky's plan, and we're going to do everything that we can to provide the security assistance to support the president.
U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin, as NATO leaders say an invitation to join NATO for Ukraine won't come until after the war ends. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How things are going in Carroll County. 64 degrees. Skies are clear over the circle. Your radar clear as well. Tonight's low drops to about 40. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. Session 1 of the Delphi murders trial wrapped up around noon today. Donnie Burgess explains what happened inside the courtroom.
Harrison, the last thing that Liberty German said to her grandmother, Becky Patty, was, "Grandma, I'll be okay." But sometime over the next 12 to 18 hours, Abigail Williams and Liberty German were both murdered near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana. This was back in February 2017, and now nearly 8 years later, the trial began this morning in Delphi, Indiana. The state of Indiana is focusing on the emotion of the killings, and what I mean is they are characterizing the murders of Abby and Libby as a murder of control, of power, of fear. They say Richard Allen used fear and power to get what he wanted out of the girls, which was the end of their lives. The defense calls into question the entire timeline. They say Richard Allen was never on the trail at the same time as the girls, and they say the evidence will prove that. The defense also brought up these strands of hair that they mentioned earlier this week during jury selection. They went into a little bit more detail, saying that the strands of hair wrapped around the fingers of Abigail Williams back in 2017 were female hairs, root and all. Session 2 is taking place right now, with court expected to wrap up by 6 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Delphi, Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Two teenagers have been arrested for killing a 38-year-old man. Jerry Thompson Jr.'s body was found inside the hallway at the Westbury Court Apartments on the northwest side about a month ago. IMPD says the two teenagers were found close to the scene, questioned, and released. It wasn't until this week that murder warrants were issued and a SWAT team arrested the pair. Charges are up to the Marion County prosecutor. You're not supposed to see any rain. You might see some frost, but not much.
Looking for mostly sunny skies for most of the weekend.
Earl Breon with the National Weather Service says high temperatures will be in the 60s or 70s the next few days. And good and bad news for the Colts. I'll start with the latter rather. Running back Jonathan Taylor, he's not going to be playing this week against the Miami Dolphins. The good news is about quarterback Anthony Richardson. That hip injury he's been dealing with won't keep him from getting the starting nod this weekend. It's another 1 p.m. kick Sunday. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
It's time to review the top 3 highlights of the day. I'm joined, as always, by my co-anchor, Snoop.
Hey, what up, though?
Snoop, number 1 has to be getting the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence at T-Mobile.
Yeah, you should hustle down to T-Mobile like a dog chasing a squirrel chasing a nut.
Nice analogy, Snoop. Dogs do love to chase squirrels.
And squirrels love to chase those nuts.
On to highlight number 2. At T-Mobile, families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
That is very impressive. You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing with my savings, Snoop. Now, take it away, Snoop.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them. Now drop that jingle.
With 24 monthly bill credits, eligible trade-in on Go 5G Next. Well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits, and credit stop and balance on required finance agreement too. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
With traffic on the 5s at 305, here's Matt Bear.
What's up, Harrison? Looking at eastbound 70 slows Belmont to the south split. And then on the south side, a crash reported westbound 465 before 31. A little bit slow back to 65. North side, inbound 69, stop and go 106 282nd. Eastbound 465 loaded from Westfield Boulevard over to the White River and a crash. Northbound Shadeland Avenue at 38th, 1 in Carmel. This is Carmel Drive at Old Meridian Street. Traffic sponsored by Norton's 360. October Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Boost your security with Norton 360. Norton blocked over 219 million threats last year. Get up to 58% off at norton.com/secure. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny, quiet, mild, beautiful this afternoon. A high of around 68. Clear skies, no problems for high school football. We're not quite as cold overnight, a low down to 40. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's...
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is out. Ethan Hatcher is in.
Hey-o.
Go ahead and pimp your Saturday night show, please.
Saturday night on The Circle. You can tune in from 7 to 9 every week and make sure to hop in the chat. I love when you guys participate in the show.
Oh, speaking of the chat, we are up and running on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in Hammer and Nigel. You'll find us there. And you can have lots and lots of fun in the chat. Trump getting huge laughs at the Al Smith dinner.
He was hysterical
last night in New York. What is the Al Smith dinner, you might ask? Al Smith, I think he was like the 42nd governor of New York back in the early 1900s.
Little history lesson there.
It's basically a dinner where the electoral candidates come on both sides of the aisle, and they break bread, and they roast each other. A little lighthearted ribbing, if you will. And it raises funds for Catholic charities that support kids of various needs in the Archdiocese of New York. So that's what this is. Not a candidate has missed this dinner since Walter Mondale. We all know how that turned out for Walter Mondale and Ronald Reagan.
Let's hope we repeat the performance, Nigel.
Kamala Harris decided to skip the Al Smith dinner, which my theory is she didn't go to this thing because it would piss off her gay constituency, the LGBTQ crowd. You can't be cozying up to Catholics.
Is that the secret sauce here? She's afraid of pissing off the LGBTQIA plus alphabet soup?
They're pro-life. Most of them are pro-life. You can't be there. So she wasn't there, but there were a lot of media elite there. There were a lot of political elites there, including Chuck Schumer, New York Mayor Eric Adams, Trump even poking fun at himself. At some point, he spoke for about 30 minutes, roasted several people that were in attendance, and even some that weren't. Let's start with Donald Trump at the Al Smith dinner. I mean, we're going to do this like every hour, okay? We're going to kick the top of the hour off with clips. Donald Trump on Joe Biden and CNN.
It's a true pleasure to be with you this evening. Amazing pleasure. And these days, it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance. Joe has almost disappeared from view. The only way he could be seen less is if he had a show on CNN. They had nothing. They've got nothing. Fake news, right? Fake.
And again, Donald Trump didn't write these jokes. I mean, it's kind of pretty much, this is not some sort of rally where he's up there speaking off, extemporaneously off the top of his head, right? But the delivery.
It's the delivery. In this kind of event, it plays to all of Donald Trump's strengths. He's a natural showman. He's been in front of the camera before. He's been on comedy shows like Saturday Night Live a number of times.
Oh, that's where they still liked him.
Right.
Although I will say now Saturday Night Live has been brutal to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. If you've been watching any of those clips that come across your timeline on social media, really funny stuff. All right, sidetracked here. Donald Trump on it's kind of weird that Kamala Harris, who is the Democratic nominee for president of the United States, didn't show up to this thing.
My opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful to the event and in particular to our great Catholic community. Very disrespectful. I understand the real reason that she's not here is she's hunting with her running mate, spending a lot of time hunting. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here, guaranteed she would have been here. Guaranteed. She would have been okay. She would have been okay with that.
And again, he's there at the podium. Chuck Schumer is sitting down right next to the podium. Chuck, it was funny. Crying Chuck laughed at some of the jokes. He didn't laugh at that one. He just kind of shook his head. Even the crowd, I don't know that it was necessarily a friendly crowd in there. Not everybody is a big Donald Trump fan. Not everybody in the religious community, Catholics, Christians included, are huge Donald Trump fans.
No, but this is an opportunity to show your lighter side. This is an opportunity to kind of temporarily declare a truce and mend the fences a little bit and show your more jovial side, which is hilarious because I thought Kamala Harris was running on a campaign of joy.
I did too.
But there's no joy to be found in the campaign. She can't even joke or laugh at herself.
Do we have time for? You want to hear a couple more here?
Yeah.
Donald Trump going after Kamala Harris and her laugh.
I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy.
There it is.
It's like a nightmare.
Oh. Boy, whenever we do the WIBC Radiothon for the Salvation Army, and Hammer breaks out this bit where he has a 10-minute loop of Kamala Harris laughing. And he...
For the Salvation Army?
Well, yeah, our goal is to I'm not going to stop playing this loop of Kamala Harris laughing until we raise $500 immediately. And every year it works. I mean, we raise $500 just like that.
Right away. Let's just get it to stop.
Trump went after New York Mayor Adams, who was in attendance here.
Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas.
They got to get out of there to make room for the illegals that they're dumping there. More audio later here on the Hammer and Nigel show. Right now, Allison, let's do some Halloween stuff.
Pumpkins, candy, costumes, Halloween stuff.
The Halloween is now less than 2 weeks away. A new survey asked if we're more excited about that. 23% of Americans say they're looking forward to it more this year, Ethan. I know your background is as a Jehovah's Witness, not allowed to even think about Halloween.
Correct.
Now that you have left that community, are you excited for Halloween? Do you care about it? Do you get dressed up?
I'm ambivalent to it. When you don't have that nostalgic connection, when you weren't going and getting the candy when you were a kid or dressing up in the costumes, it's hard to find the Halloween spirit as an adult.
24% say they're looking forward to it less. 53% say their excitement level is the same as usual. I don't really do dress up. Again, it's all about the kids. Right? I got an almost 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. They've had their costumes since the summer, and Lindsay just took them to the Spirit Halloween store on 86th Street on Wednesday when we got home for vacation and spent more money on more costumes.
What I like most about Halloween is that all the stores start stocking up on these snack-sized Snicker bars and the snack-sized Reese's. That's what I look forward to.
All right, my man, Matt Bear, what's going on the roads?
All right, Nigel, looking at the south side, that's a crash. Eastbound 465. After 31, it's blocking the right lane, causing stop traffic back to I-69. Delay time right now is 17 minutes to make it through that. Eastbound 70, stop and go from Holt Road to Meridian, Illinois. Inbound 65 closed to West Street. It will be for the next 14 days. October 31st is an end date that we're looking at right now. It's a bridge maintenance project, so if you're going southbound 65, you cannot advance to the north split. You must exit it west. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for expert advice. Thousands of in-stock options, fast delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And Matt, that I-65 thing downtown is a complete cluster F.
It's a night terror.
Do you want to come in and discuss more of that and exactly what we're talking about here in a few seconds?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right, we'll see you here next segment. It's 68 and sunny at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
A new work truck? Need a new fleet vehicle? Andy Moore Ford has got you covered. Over 800 new vehicles available on the lot, including the Super Duty trucks available starting only at $43,995. You've got F-150s, transit vans, the custom work vehicles for any industry, all built Ford tough, and Rangers with that all-new body style from only $36,995. And of course, you want the cool, fun stuff. They've got the Broncos, the Bronco Sports. I'm driving a Bronco. I own a Bronco Sport. And interest rates as low as 0% APR available on new Andy Moore Fords. And when you need service, Andy Moore Ford will come to you. Just schedule it online at andymoreford.com. They'll come pick up the vehicle, service it, and bring it back to you as good as new. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Visit them on Main Street. Tell them Tony Cat sent you, or find them online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R. I love Andy. andymoreford.com. Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg, Central Indiana's premier arms dealer. They have over 1,200 firearms in stock, the largest selection of used firearms in the area, from pre-Civil War to modern guns. Premier Arms has always put their customers ahead of their profits. They always have ammunition available when a customer buys a firearm. Everyone can find what they're looking for at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street. Find them online at premierarms.com. Premierarms.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. When it's time to renovate, it's time to call Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com, because it's about the process. It's about dealing with professionals who are with you every step of the way, communicating how things work. The best craftsmen and professionals who have been doing kitchens and bathrooms in Indianapolis for 2 decades. Talk to Booher Remodeling today about how they work and why it will work for you and your new kitchen. Call 317-852-5546, 852-5546, or online at Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com.
Don't you deserve healthcare you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing. Those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Shop Macy's lowest prices of the fall today. For the season's best prices on what you need now. Save 40 to 60% on new styles to get you ready for cooler temps. Like cozy coats for your crew, the perfect sweaters for layering, and more fall wardrobe updates. Plus, don't miss amazing specials for you and your home. So good, they won't last. at Macy's.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Yeah, my name is Nigel. Ethan Hatcher's in for Hammer. Traffic Beasts, WIBC Traffic Director Mac Bear. What up? Live in studio. I know you're supporting Sobriety Podcast is doing a series on fentanyl crisis, and we'll get to that in just a second because that is that is much more important than what's going on downtown with southbound 65, but still annoying as hell. Of course, I'm having flashbacks. This happened, I feel like a year or two ago, where you had to get off at West Street and you couldn't progress any further. And West Street is how I get off. And like just all these semis are clogging up West Street and it's backed up for miles. What is going on? What's the timeline? And how can I make my life easier? That's what it's really all about. Is me.
Move to another city. start working downtown Zionsville. that would be my advice. Yeah, southbound 65. It is closed big time at West Street. And what you were talking about earlier, I think, was North Split construction, which was just just a mile down the road. So now
and that's all finished. And now they're shutting it down again.
Now we got to do what's before the North Split on southbound 65, and this is at West, and they're maintaining the bridges. They're upgrading the bridges, and anytime I hear bridge repair, I'm like, okay, cool, good. But I'm like, oh, we're shutting down.
Did they just do that? Or they were more or less working on the interchanges.
They're working on the interchange. They completely remodeled that whole thing, and they did a pretty nice job with some exceptions.
Exceptions,
I do like the signs that say things like Old North Side on the bridges now. It's very Carmel-esque.
So is this going to have an effect like on the Colts game this weekend? Dolphins are at home against the Colts, so it's going to make me sick to see all those idiot Dolphins fans wearing jerseys at Lucas Oil. But in terms of traffic, it's just going to have an effect on that. I'm not sure when is Taylor Swift here, Allison.
That's going to be November 2nd, 3rd, and that.
So that's not going to have
first, second, and third.
First, second, and third.
It might have an effect on that.
Yeah, it will. It was supposed to, but that's why they moved it up. It will have an effect on the Colts game coming up this Sunday because a lot of out-of-towners are going to traditionally use that southbound 65 West Street corridor. It's the easiest way to get to Lucas Oil Stadium downtown from the northwest side, or coming down from Lebanon, wherever you might be, maybe a Bears fan. I don't know, but that's where everybody goes, and that's where everybody is going to go again. And I would advise skipping southbound 65 once you get into the 465 loop and taking that instead. Because if you take that down to 70, then you can jump in on 70. And granted, there's a ton of gate traffic trying to peel off on those ramps, like Meridian, South Split, West, all those places that you normally get the traffic. But
off 70,
I don't know what southbound 65 is going to look like at that West Street exit.
Well,
I'm trying something else.
I can tell you what it looks like at like 6:37 o'clock last night. It was a damn nightmare.
It's bad.
Backed up all the way to 38th Street.
Well, it's not designed to handle multiple semis driving through that,
It all bottles into West Street. There's
here's the problem. I mean, you said it best. I mean, we get all these semis into downtown, and not only the interstate's not designed to handle that kind of semi-volume traffic, but our streets are
nor is the pavement.
Yeah, our streets are totally not. In these semis, thank you, truckers, for listening. Our semis get on these city streets, and they just tear them to hell. And this was a problem during North Split construction. We're still repaving some of the streets there, and now it's going to be a problem there on the northwest end of downtown around this 10th Street area. I mean, there is a goat rope of traffic that starts from west on 10th Street and goes over to the Delaware Street exit every day so far, both morning and evening rush for drivers trying to get over to that Delaware Street on-ramp. And this is not going to be good for the road, so we're going to have to do something there. So with every upgrade, it's like one step forward, one step back, we push even on the whole thing.
The podcast is called what?
Supporting Sobriety. Thanks for asking.
And who is it for?
This is for the caregiver of the alcoholic and addict. Could be recovering or in use or struggling right now. And when I say caregiver, I think of family members, spouses, significant others. Can anybody that's been affected by the behavior of an addict or alcoholic. And we are working on a series right now. Our first episode came out Wednesday on fentanyl. And we had a great conversation with DEA Special Agent in Charge, Michael Gannon. And he came on and really broke down the opening parts of the fentanyl crisis. Why are we here? Why is it so problematic? I mean, Nigel, Ethan, Allison, it's a dose less than the size of a penny can be fatal. I mean, that's and think about this. When we had the OxyContin crisis, you know, as bad as it was, and it was bad. Thank you, Slacker family, everybody else who really made that as awful as it possibly could be. With fentanyl, two things about it. One, it just takes so little to overdose. Secondly, you don't know you're taking fentanyl half the time because it's so easy to make. And drug dealers take their more expensive drugs like a cocaine and they cut it with fentanyl.
And that's why I say a lot of these deaths from fentanyl aren't accidental. I guess they're poison.
Yes, yeah,
they're poisoned to death. It's not like an accidental overdose. It's not like you're buying Xanax off the street and thinking, "Oh, hey, it's Xanax. I'm gonna chill out for a while." They don't know they're taking it because it's mixed in,
and that's the problem.
And
why
that's murder. That's
it's totally murder, and it's a big deal with parents of teenagers right now because these teenagers are buying drugs off Snapchat and other social media apps. And there's an emoji code. We're getting into that this week. We're talking about that. And
I wanted to...
Well, they think, like to your point, Nigel, they think they're buying Xanax. Yes. They think they're buying a party drug, maybe X or something like that, going to a rave. And the drug dealer doesn't give a damn. He's like, okay, I'll cut this with fentanyl, send it out. Next thing you know, you're taking fentanyl. You have no tolerance to opioids, which is what a fentanyl pill is. And you OD on just the size of a dose, the size of a penny. So it's awful. It really is a crisis.
I like how in this clip you describe kind of the progression. Is that what we're listening to here? The progression of pills. Like in the description you wrote here, guys, back in the day, I absolutely loved opioids.
Yeah.
My surviving a fentanyl crisis, if this were back in the day, would not be great. If you want to go ahead and play that clip, Allison.
Then they made the H-bomb, which has never been dropped, which in the H-bomb is like thousands and thousands of times stronger than the atomic bomb. We had OxyContin. You know, that was working on the pain. We had OxyContin, we had morphine, and that was working on the pain. But, man, there was a drug crisis, and it was lethal. And then we come up with fentanyl, which is like 100 times stronger than OxyContin. So why, again, it's like we make this H-bomb of the drug world. It's causing this massive drug crisis right now across the world. Something I want to qualify there real quick, if I could, Nigel. Fentanyl's been around a long time, since like the 80s.
It's like a chemo drug, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it's given medically.
And what I was talking about there in that comparison is, why do we need a stronger opioid? Why do we need a stronger painkiller? And I'm like, Matt, you dummy, you've never had cancer. You've never been in that extreme amount of pain. The closest thing I've ever come to it was a surgery on my stomach. My stuff got
I remember that.
Yeah. I felt like I was going to die, and then I wanted to die. That was how to describe it. And whatever painkillers they give me did not do the trick. So, I'm kind of thinking about that. Maybe you need a stronger opioid, but drug dealers will get a hold of this stuff, and they will make money off it. And
it's cheaper, it's more available, and it's all over the place. Where can people find the latest edition of Supporting Sobriety?
We are on X and Instagram at sobriety_pod. And we have a growing community going there, and it's young, but it is growing. So if you'd like to join us, that would be awesome. The podcast itself, you can find anywhere. Spotify, Apple, WIBC.com if you want to check it out. This series we're doing, we believe to be invaluable to the caregiver. My partner, Ryan Hedrick, our morning show anchor, we're a recovering addict, myself, a recovering alcoholic and addict. We really worked hard on these episodes, and we think people are going to get a lot out of them and hopefully raise awareness, and that fights the stigma of addiction.
Matt Baer, you're the man. Thank you. Always appreciate you stopping in. It's the Hammer Nigel Show.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I exclusively use American Standard equipment to heat my home in the winter and to cool my home in the summer. Here is Hammer to tell you about one of those amazing independent Central Indiana American Standard dealers.
How about Family Heating and Air, the Morris family and their staff ready to help you out this fall and into the winter? You could call Rachel, Marcus, or Malia today to make sure that furnace is safe and ready to go for when that cold weather starts to move in. Family Heating and Air always encourages you to call them for a free second opinion if you've already got a quote from somebody else. If something seems a little off about your quote, call Family, because nobody takes care of you like family. 317-577-8077. Family Heating and Air, 577-8077. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
Hey, it's JMV here from SM's Home and Garden in Bargersville. Enjoy this great time to plan and change your landscape and save in the process. This week at Miss M's, 30% off container trees and shrubs. Enjoy the fall season with great decor for your house. 30% off interior fall decor this week. Miss M still has plenty of mums, pumpkins, and outside fall decor still available. Miss M's Home and Garden, State Road 135 to south of Whiteland Road. MissM'sHomeandGarden.com.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted. Yep. I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or Hellsberg.com.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A warmer winter, 64 degrees, sunny in downtown Indianapolis. Completely clear when you check the radar. Tonight's low drops to about 40. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:32. Expect this winter to be a bit on the warmer side based off of the NOAA's Climate Prediction Center.
But typically when we're looking for above normal temperatures, that usually means that it's probably going to be more liquid precipitation.
Earl Breon with the National Weather Service admits that there's still going to be some chances for snow, just maybe not as much here in the capital city. Libby's grandmother, Becky Patty, was called to the stand once court resumed after lunch in the Delphi trial today. She did tell the jury that she had been around Abby, Libby's friend, several times, including a spring break trip. Patty had been explaining her last interactions with both the girls before they went to the Monon High Bridge and were killed. Richard Allen is the man accused of their murders. Vice President Kamala Harris says Donald Trump hasn't been talking nice about the people of Michigan.
We have a situation where the former president is insulting the people of the state, this time saying that auto workers, that their important and good and highly skilled work could be performed by a child.
Harris speaking in Grand Rapids today. It's less than a month until Election Day. The new athletics center at IU Indianapolis is going to cost about $110 million. Here's Ryan Hedrick to tell you about it.
The state budget committee approved the funding to build the center Thursday. Athletic director Luke Basso says the arena will host men's and women's basketball, volleyball, athletic offices, and the USA Track and Field corporate offices.
In the hopes to have the project done in Q4 of 26.
The new athletic center is about 130,000 square feet. If you can't wrap your head around that, that's the size of about 2.5 football fields. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You ever get suckered into signing up for that free subscription trial only to forget to cancel it? Well, you're not alone. A survey from CNET shows nearly half of Americans have done the exact same thing. Happens most often with streaming platforms, your Netflixes and Apple TVs. Traffic and weather in about 1 minute. It's 3:34.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet and Security Edge plus Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Unlimited Mobile. And ask how to get up to a $600 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
The traffic at 335. What are you looking at, Matt Bear?
Harrison, I'm looking at downtown here near Eskenazi Avenue and 10th Street. Please avoid 10th at Eskenazi Avenue. Police are investigating a shooting right now in that area. Southside crash, eastbound 465 after 31 has the right lane. Traffic stop back to I-69 and then slow back to 67 Kentucky Avenue. Eastbound at 70 stop and go from Sam Jones Expressway into Meridian, Illinois. We are already at a 13-minute delay on that. Inbound 65 closed at west will be for 14 days for bridge maintenance. In the meantime, if you're coming southbound 65, you have to exit at West Street. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for expert advice. Thousands of in-stock appliance options, faster delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny, quiet, mild, beautiful this afternoon. A high of around 68. Clear skies, no problems for high school football. We're not quite as cold overnight, a low down to 40. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hello, my name is Nigel. Ethan Hatcher in for Hammer. We'll go to the hotline and bring on Tommy Pigott, Strategic Comms Director for the RNC. Find his work at the popular X handle at RNC Research. Tommy, definitely want to get your thoughts on Kamala Harris's performance, the interview she did with Brett Baer on Fox, but any overall thoughts on Kamala not showing up to the Al Smith dinner for the Catholic Charities in New York last night? I say it's because of her LGBTQ constituency. You can't be associated with those Catholics. Is that a stretch, or I mean, just kind of maybe your overall perspective?
Well, I think kind of two things here. First, it kind of shows the bias or the hostility she's had for Catholics really through her administration. And that's something that has been shown by the Harris and Biden administration's policies, even with memos from the DOJ about targeting Catholics, putting potential informants into churches. I mean, really outrageous stuff from this administration. And this is the latest example of that, of really disrespecting Catholic Americans, especially at a dinner that has been attended by both nominees for 40 years. And I think that's the second point here is last time this happened was Walter Mondale. And I think we all know what happened when Walter Mondale skipped that dinner. He ended up losing 49 states. And I'm hopeful that that'll happen again here, that we'll have Kamala Harris losing 49 states and have history repeat itself in that way.
Yeah, but beyond that, too, I don't think she could handle it. I just don't think this is her wheelhouse. She can barely read off a teleprompter, much less entertain a crowd full of people. I mean, this is a roast-type atmosphere. She doesn't have the personality, Tommy.
Yeah, I think it goes to the fact that her campaign has been trying to protect her as much as possible, even during that Fox News interview, which they tried to say that was somehow her going to the lion's den, which is what they said repeatedly after that interview. In reality, it was a fair and balanced interview, and her staffers were waving their hands trying to end that thing as soon as possible, aggressively trying to get Brett Baer to end that interview. They are trying to protect her as much as possible from any sort of criticism. And as President Trump said during his really excellent speech at the Al Smith dinner, he mentioned that half the room there were Democrats, right? I mean, half the room were Republicans, half the room were Democrats. That's the nature of the dinner. And so I think you're right. Kamala Harris couldn't handle that. She couldn't handle being in a hostile environment. And I think that goes to a broader issue here as well, is as president, you really can't be protected from hardship. You can't be protected from hard decisions. You can't be protected from dealing with people that don't like you. That's the nature of the job. And we've seen with Joe Biden how disastrous it is when the staff tries to shield the president from doing any of the actual job. So it really shows, again, Kamala Harris would be 4 more years of the Harris-Biden administration. We know that from a policy standpoint, but also from a functional standpoint of her staff not wanting her to have any sort of interaction with anybody. And the disasters we've seen from this administration will just continue in that regard.
When it came to the Brett Baer interview on Fox, the lack of substance was made manifest because she had more than 20 minutes to tell the American people what her policies are, what her plans were, and instead she just points them to a website and spends the rest of the time talking about Donald Trump. And then she tried to make that weird point about, oh, well, Donald Trump's been running for the last 3.5 years, and somehow tie that to 72% of Americans being dissatisfied with the current state of affairs. It was just bizarro world.
It really was. I mean, and the fact that she mentioned her website, if you remember, her website was copy and pasted from Joe Biden's website. So that's really a new way forward. I mean, her pointing in that direction is actually reaffirming it would be 4 more years of the Harris-Biden administration. And I think one of the points that Brett Baer made to the exact point you're talking about was he said, I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Kamala Harris said, you know what I'm trying to say when she was kind of going through her bizarre ramblings. And Brett Baer said, I actually don't know what you're trying to say. And neither did anybody. And I think one of the most telling parts of this lack of substance and really them playing politics was also the border exchange at the beginning of that interview. I mean, she's trying to make this bizarre point about the border bill that they tried to put forward, which is really just amnesty about, 9 months ago or so. And Brett Baer brought up the point that he was saying, you've let in all of these criminals for 3.5 years. Are you going to apologize for that? And again, she tried to pivot. When the fact of the matter is they reversed these policies that President Trump had in place, policies that were working. They are responsible for this invasion we've seen at the border. And I think Brett Baer, just by asking simple questions, exposed the hypocrisy and of the absurdity that Kamala Harris has been trying to put forward when it comes to the border. They could have solved this problem. They should never have created this problem. They created this problem from the very beginning. They could have solved it at any point, and now they're playing politics with it. And I think that interview showed just how crass their politics truly are.
And Tommy, I'm glad you brought up that immigration bill that the Democrats always talk about. We had the immigration bill, but Donald Trump killed it. I don't ever remember Donald Trump being in power over the past 3.5 years. Does that hold any water, legitimacy at all with them saying that, with the Democrats said, well, Donald Trump killed this immigration bill that was going to solve all our problems?
I don't think it holds any water at all. I think really all it is just for them to have a talking point. I think Brett Baer exposed it as the weak talking point that it is. First, pointing out that Kamala Harris helped reverse all of these policies that created the crisis in the first place. They didn't have to do that. No one was making them do it. They decided purposely to open the border and create this border invasion. So that's on them from the beginning, and she refused any accountability for that. I think the second point of this that they always forget to mention when they talk about that is the House Republicans passed a bill that actually would end this border crisis.
HR2.
I mean, HR2. They did that. It's been sitting there for years in the Senate. The Senate has refused to take it up. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have signaled their opposition to it. That would have solved this crisis. It wasn't necessary to solve this crisis. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden could do that by reinstating President Trump's policies, but a bill was there. And the bill that they're talking about, when you look at it for even a minute, is about basically attempting to, quote unquote, legalize the invasion that we're seeing. I mean, it wasn't actually going to secure the border. It was about facilitating more illegal immigrants coming into this country. And that was really what the opposition to that bill was. So it wouldn't have solved the problem. It does nothing to actually address why they created this crisis in the first place. And also does nothing to address why they haven't passed HR2. So it's a very weak talking point. And again, Brett Baer, just by asking questions to Kamala Harris about it, really showed it for the weak talking point that it is.
And it wasn't a gotcha style interview either. It wasn't some sort of adversarial. I heard Dana Perino call it adversarial. I disagree. I don't know that it was an adversarial interview. He was asking questions. What she didn't expect was follow-up questions. We're speaking with Tommy Pigott, Strategic Comms Director for the RMC. One more thing on illegal immigration. I got to ask you, I've been on fall break since last Wednesday, but I did see the clip over the weekend of Martha Raddatz at ABC talking to J.D. Vance and addressing Aurora, Colorado, where I believe Trump was just speaking, and telling J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, that, hey, it's only a handful of apartments that the Venezuelan gangs have taken over. And that just speaks to the cluelessness, the media elite, and how utterly ignorant they are when it comes to the problem of illegal immigration. What did you think when she said that?
Well, I think, first of all, future Vice President J.D. Vance showed why, again, gave another masterclass in terms of responding to the bogus talking points from the liberals and the fake news media. He did that in the debate, and he did that again with Martha Raddatz. I mean, it was very clear when he said, "Do you hear yourself?" that the point she was making was absurd, and that was an excellent way of highlighting how absurd it was. The point she was making is also completely wrong. I mean, they're doing everything that they can to run cover for the Democrats to try to excuse the migrant crime epidemic we are seeing across this country. But the point is that we are seeing across this country. The appropriate number of housing complexes to be taken over by gangs in the United States of America is 0. 0 is the appropriate number. A handful is too many. That is a problem, but it's also happening in communities across the country. It's not just a handful. There's reporting from the New York Post about Trenda Arugua setting up a criminal empire in New York City, peddling drugs in New York City, illicit activities in New York City, and the NYPD unable to address that. That's just another example that we're seeing across this country. So it's not a handful, but even if it was, the appropriate number is none. And President Trump has the solutions to actually address this crisis. So all of the fake news media trying to act like this crisis doesn't exist, I think it goes to the fact that their credibility, and there's a reason why their credibility is tumbling every single day, because they believe it's their job to run cover for Kamala Harris as opposed to reporting the facts. But unfortunately for them, the American people know the facts. They're living through the disaster of this administration, and they want to change.
Tommy, one more thing before we let you go. I know there's only so much you can talk about as when you work for the RNC and commenting on Donald Trump, but the candidate. But how is the Trump campaign going? It seems like it's gaining momentum in terms of polling, in terms of union support, even in terms of support of Muslims. Your overall analysis of the campaign so far and the importance of getting out early and voting.
Well, the momentum's clearly with President Trump and the Trump campaign. It's very clear in that direction. You mentioned all the traditional Democrat constituencies that are coming over and supporting President Trump. Because, again, his vision is a vision for all Americans. His vision is a unifying agenda. Putting Americans first is something all Americans can get behind. That's why we're seeing the Teamsters overwhelmingly supporting him. We're seeing him pull at levels unheard of for a Republican amongst Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, young Americans, Americans from every walk of life coming together to save this country. So the momentum's clearly there. We're also seeing that translated with our unprecedented ground game, where we first have the election integrity effort, which of course is so important. We have over 200,000 people that have volunteered to be part of that effort, but also the turnout to vote effort, where we have people across the country going out to vote early. And that's the important thing to stress here. This election season is already underway. If you haven't made your plan to vote, you need to make that plan to vote. If you know people, friends and family across the country, make sure you get in touch with them. Make sure that they have their plan to vote. Make sure that everyone has their plan to vote and vote early if they can. We're seeing in states across the country, these early vote numbers are incredibly high. It shows the competitiveness of this race to make sure that we're getting all those Republicans out to vote. We're off to the races right now, and we can't let up. We have to be pedal to the metal all the way through Election Day and leave nothing on the table.
Find his work on social media at RNC Research. Tommy Pigott, Strategic Comms Director for the RNC. Have a great weekend, buddy. We'll talk to you next Friday.
You as well. Have a good one.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Our Turn Back the Time sale has been so crazy good that we're now extending it through Monday, November the 4th. Everything from Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, dining, bedroom, it's all on sale at pre-pandemic prices with free delivery within 75 miles of our store. You will never see these prices again. Hurry in to Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Sale ends Monday.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Can you hear me? So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
In high school sports, it's fun making big plays, facing off against your school's rival, and winning games.
But behind those exciting moments is a lot of hard work, perseverance, and mental toughness. I'm Kate Garden from Wawasee High School.
And I'm Claire Hack from Jennings County High School. High school sports help student athletes develop the mindset we need to face life's challenges, be resilient, and embrace the uncomfortable.
We learn that overcoming adversity is how we grow, and by leaning into challenges, we develop courage and integrity.
We discover there are no shortcuts to success, and that it only comes when preparation meets opportunity.
Behind all the fun and excitement of playing, we are growing as people and learning powerful life lessons through high school sports.
I am IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Support the second classroom by buying a ticket to your school's athletic events. Thank you for being a champion of high school sports. This is developing resilience. This is conquering challenges. This is your IHSAA.
Weekend emergency, no problem. They're here for you 7 days a week at B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical. B+W.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard air dealer.
There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Matt Bear, what's up?
Nigel Southside crash eastbound 465 after 31. That's blocking the right lane, causing pockets of stopped traffic past Kentucky Avenue. Your delay right now is at 48 minutes. Eastbound 70 stop and go after Sam Jones Expressway to Meridian, Illinois. That's running 23 minutes behind at the moment. Lebanon northbound 65 stop and go from US 52 up to State Road 32. That is a slowdown with construction in it. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of their locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product. Discover more at royalspa.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
69 and sunny at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. I'm Nigel. Ethan Hatcher is here for Hammer. I know we only have a couple of minutes, man. I saw like a heartbreaking Facebook post that you made a couple of days, maybe a week ago, involving you and your mom. You have a Jehovah's Witness background. You grew up in that religious sect. You were excommunicated from it. Is that a good word? Or
Disfellowshipped is the proper term.
Disfellowshipped. But tell me briefly. I really, because I have a great relationship with my mom. So I'm I'm so cynical. Everybody must have a great relationship with their mom, but that's not the case. And that religion is iffy for you, right?
She sent me a text message, like you said, a couple of weeks ago. She's trying to entice me back into the cult because I guess one of my buddies has recently been reinstated. And that's the thing. They make you choose between your family or your friends because now since my buddy's been reinstated, we can't talk or have anything to do with each other because he wanted to have a relationship with his parents.
You're calling it a cult.
Right. Well, it is a cult.
I see those people out underneath the Arts Garden and some of those people out here. They seem very docile, very nice. Every time they've come to my door, they're non-confrontational, non-adversarial. I'm not saying that that's
When you dig in, I mean, they break families apart, Nigel, and there's a lot of dirty laundry just beneath the surface.
So you growing up never experienced birthday parties, Christmases?
No.
That's the kind of 4th of July. That's one of the rules.
All off limits in the land of Jehovah's Witnesses. The last thing, as a matter of fact, that my mother had ever said to me, this is when I was 17 years old. She said that I was a spiritually dead tree. Now that doesn't mean anything to most people because it's
a biblical reference
deep into the Bible, about the parable about Jesus running into a fruit tree that didn't bear fruit, and therefore he made it wither and die because it was totally worthless. So it's a roundabout way of saying that you're completely worthless to me.
Man, I saw that and my heart broke. I'm sorry, buddy, but I just kind of wanted to get your brief background on that. We could probably spend another 20 minutes commercial free on this, but we're up against it, man, and we have a lot more clips from Donald Trump at the Al Smith dinner, and Donald Rainwater coming up at 4:30, the Libertarian candidate for governor. That's all coming up after 4 o'clock on the Hammer and Nigel Show. A few years ago, I noticed my windows were just awful. My house was built in the 80s, and I don't think they'd ever been replaced. They were hard to open. I saw leaks. They were drafty and moldy. That's when I made the decision, the best decision I've ever made, and called Window Nation to get in there and put in some new windows for me.
I am a Window Nation customer, and you should be a Window Nation customer. Why? Because it lowers your heating and air bill. I've seen it. When you get energy-efficient windows, it lowers your bill. Your perfect climate stays inside. The nasty stuff stays on the outside. And with this deal, there's no reason why you shouldn't be a Window Nation customer. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Plus, no down payment, no interest, no payments for 24 months. At least start a conversation. Ask some questions at 866-90-NATION. 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through October 20th, get fast, reliable 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $30 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract with free Wi-Fi equipment included. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with Xfinity Mobile. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Your local news coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
The tug of war for a toss-up state. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
As president, I will stand up for all Americans. All Americans.
Vice President Kamala Harris holding the first of 3 rallies in Michigan today, pledging in Grand Rapids to build a brighter future together.
Because, by the way, we will win. We will win. We will win. Come on.
Her focus on Michigan aimed in part at union workers and the state's Arab American community, which has criticized the current administration's support for Israel over the war in Gaza. Before rallying, Harris went on the attack, saying she's heard reports that former President Trump's team is saying he's suffering from exhaustion. Trump denies that.
I've gone 48 days now without a rest.
Reacting a short time ago as he arrived in Michigan.
I'm not even tired. I'm really exhilarated. You know why? We're killing her in the polls because the American people don't want her. She didn't pass her bar exam. She's not a smart person.
He has a roundtable discussion in Oakland County and then a rally in Detroit. Trump also telling reporters he thinks the Hamas leader's death makes the prospects for peace in Gaza easier and that he plans to speak with Israel's prime minister soon. The Biden administration also hoping for a renewed ceasefire effort.
We believe, continue to believe, that finding an end to the war is critical, and we also believe that Mr. Sinwar's death yesterday can provide an inflection point to getting there.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says Hamas is in a weaker position than ever before, but a senior Hamas official says their destiny is victory or martyrdom. New highs on Wall Street. The Dow with a record close for the second day, up 36 points to 43,275. And this time the S&P makes it too, also closing at a new record. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Early arguments from the defense. 66 degrees, sunny in downtown Indianapolis. All clear on the radar. 40 is your low tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Judge Fran Golda wasted little time into getting the Delphi murders trial started today. Donnie Burgess reports on Session 1.
Harrison, what you're hearing is a train passing through Delphi, Indiana, and I'm in front of the CVS where suspect Richard Allen once worked before he was arrested in October of 2022, 2 years ago, charged with 4 counts of murder for the deaths of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Opening statements did not take long this morning. Prosecutor Nick McClellan is focusing on the emotion in the case. He says Richard Allen used fear and power to control the girls and to eventually kill them. The defense plans to call into question many things: the bullet, the confessions, and the timeline of events. They claim during opening statements that Richard Allen wasn't even on the trail at the same time as the girls, and they say the evidence will prove that. The judge reminded the jury that opening statements are not evidence. Evidence will be presented over the next 4 weeks. Session 2 in today's hearing should conclude around 6 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Delphi, Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A couple of teenagers were arrested on murder charges this week for killing a 38-year-old. IMPD quickly pinned the 2 suspects after Jerry Thompson's body was found in a hallway at the Westbury Court Apartments northwest of Indy. About a month after the 2 were questioned, a SWAT team arrested the teenagers after murder warrants were issued this week. You're not supposed to see rain. You might get some frost, but it's not going to be much this weekend.
Looking for mostly sunny skies for most of the weekend.
Earl Breon with the National Weather Service. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s to 70s in this state for the next few days. Your tax dollars are going to help fund a new athletic center at IU Indianapolis. Athletic Director Luke Basso says late Vice President of the Pacers, Jim Morris, advocated for the project for years.
And, he was pushing up and every day until the end to make sure we got this happen. So we will honor Mr. Morris's legacy every day on our campus as we build this new arena.
The facility is going to have space for men's and women's basketball and volleyball in the university's new athletics office. The project's expected to be done sometime in 2026. And some good and bad news for the Colts. Running back Jonathan Taylor's not going to be playing this weekend against the Miami Dolphins. The good news is quarterback Anthony Richardson, the second-year pro, will be back to starting after a hip injury sidelined him for the last couple of weeks. It's another 1 p.m. kick this Sunday over at Lucas Oil. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified. Luxury. Even the hard-to-find ones. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Keep the tradition alive, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, good news outside. Crash clear eastbound 465 after 31, still jammed up back to 70 front of the line. Is starting to clear out a little bit. This is a construction zone, so it's going to take a minute. Eastbound 70, stop and go from the west side. Sam Jones Expressway to the south split, 20-minute delay. Looking at northbound 65 in Lebanon, stop and go traffic before State Road 39 up to State Road 32. There's some construction up there. And please avoid westbound 10th Street at Eskenazi Avenue. Shooting investigation in progress, and cops are asking people to stay away if you would, please. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for expert advice. Thousands of in-stock appliance options, fast delivery, professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Expect our cold night trend to continue into our Friday night with lows down in the upper 30s to low 40s. Saturday will be a beautiful and sunny day with highs in the lower 70s with lots of sunshine. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's... Coming up a little after 4:30, Libertarian candidate for governor of Indiana, Donald Rainwater, live in studio. I owe it all to Ethan Hatcher, who's filling in for Jason Hammer, setting that up. Now, I will say I'm a little embarrassed. My wife has told me never to wear what I'm wearing to work ever again. Like, I didn't know that he was going to be in studio, first of all. So, like, I would have maybe put on some jeans and maybe a button-up shirt, just a little respect for somebody that's running for somebody who I voted for in 2020.
Nigel, trust me, that's way better than some of the stuff you've seen me wearing around the studio sometimes. In my paint clothes, covered in grime and caulk.
Right.
And...
Okay, now I feel better.
Yeah.
Now I feel better. So that's at 4:30. At about 5:20, we've got a couple of segments with Breitbart editor-in-chief Alex Marlo, one of my favorite guests ever. He has got some big news. They made a huge announcement regarding Breitbart this week, and we'll also get his thoughts on the Kamala Harris campaign, her interview with Fox, her interview with Fox News, Donald Trump. We've got a big hour, a couple of hours of the Hammer and Nigel show. We've been playing some audio from Donald Trump getting laughs at the Al Smith dinner. What is the Al Smith dinner? Raises money for Catholic charities in New York. Every presidential candidate for 40 years has been doing this, and it's parties on both sides ribbing each other. It's lighthearted roast. So Donald Trump was there. Kamala Harris was not. As he put it, I believe he was in Michigan. What did he say? Taking communion from Gretchen Whitmer. What was that thing I saw?
The Doritos thing. Yeah, that was so weird.
Gretchen Whitmer did a podcast with some chick, and then
They're
the podcaster
kneeling.
was on her knees and Gretchen was giving her sacrament, a
Doritos
communion.
sacrament. Yeah.
So anyway, let's play
Left
a
can't
couple of pieces of audio here because Trump was getting some laughs in front of the people that he was roasting, like Chuck Schumer and New York City Mayor Eric Adams. I like this joke from Trump because it's a little misdirection about his challenger, Kamala Harris, and President Biden.
The fact is, we need new leadership in this country. Right now, we have someone in the White House who can barely talk, barely put together two coherent sentences, who seems to have mental faculties of a child, it's sad. Is a person that has nothing going, no intelligence whatsoever, but enough about Kamala Harris.
See, it's funny because you thought he was talking about Joe Biden. No, that actually was pretty funny. Donald Trump, boy, Kamala's husband catching some shrapnel here. Go ahead.
A major issue in this race is child care, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away. That's a nasty one. That's nasty.
That's what he did there.
Nasty. I believe it was confirmed that back in the day, Doug Emhoff, is it Em?
Yes. Yes.
He knocked up the nanny. This was before he was with Kamala.
Isn't this such a missed opportunity by the Harris campaign not to participate? Because now you've given Donald Trump free reign to dominate the conversation and pass around all the memes, pass around all the sound bites. This is the last thing that the Harris campaign needed, and they would have given her ample opportunity to land a few punches if that's what she wanted to do. They weren't going to restrict her speech at the Al Smith dinner,
No way.
but instead she censored herself, and she lost out on that deal.
Trump followed that up with this little gem.
Campaigning can take a toll on a family and family life, although I hear that Kamala and her husband carve out some really beautiful alone time at the end of the day for an intimate dinner, just Doug, her, and the teleprompter that she uses quite well.
Could you imagine them having the steak dinner and they bring out the teleprompter to put it behind Doug? So
You see a text fly up on the screen. Pass the salt, says Kamala.
And then finally, we have some more audio next hour, but here's Donald Trump and talking about like the campaign, some of these like Kamala for white dudes for Harris commercials.
What up?
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Every one of those people are voting for me.
Well, look, I mean, when you're looking at polls, something came out today. Vice President Kamala Harris leading Trump by 1 point nationally, according to this Emerson College survey. Undecideds. Support for Harris increased to 50%. Trump went to 49%. Trump led Harris with men 56 to 42. Harris led with women 55 to 41. I mean, I could point to any number of polls that have Trump leading in double digits.
And that's what producer Kevin and I were talking about before the show, because he was in the studio here producing. Tony Katz and I came in, and I believe they announced that on Fox News that Kamala was leading by 1% in the polls. And we each said, if she's leading by 1%, that really means she's losing by like 4% reality, because you can't trust the polls. I believe it was 8 years ago that they were saying Hillary Clinton was in a commanding lead.
And then you have just these things like the eyeball test, like you watch SNL and they're making relentless fun of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in their campaign. You're watching even CNN. Remember the question that Brett Baer posed to Kamala Harris involving, 70% of the country thinks we're going in the wrong direction. CNN, listen to this. A CNN contributor is making way too much sense for Brian Stelter, a.k.a. The Thumb. CNN fired The Thumb, and then they rehired The Thumb. Brian Stelter, their media critic or whatever.
They couldn't find anybody else that wanted to join.
Well, this is that might be it. This is Shermichael Singleton. He is a CNN contributor, and he was talking about, Americans, everybody, Democrats and Republicans, are seeing billions go to Ukraine, and they all are wondering, we're funding these foreign conflicts when our roads are crumbling, schools failing, domestic issues unaddressed, and so people are asking, what about us? Listen to Brian's, this is like a panel on CNN. Listen to Brian Stelter's response.
My point is that a lot of people look at how much money we've spent on this conflict, and they're asking themselves, my roads are crumbling, my schools suck, we just had major disasters across the country, FEMA doesn't have enough money allocated.
By the way, I don't live in that country. I don't live in that country, by the way. America's not that horrible.
Brian, if you get out of New York and talk to regular people.
I don't live in New York. I live in a normal city, in a normal town. My roads are not. I love New York, but my roads are not crumbling. My schools don't suck. I just get tired of the anti-America.
Maybe you're fortunate enough to put your kids in darn good schools, but there are a lot. No, let me finish here. There are a lot of people in this country.
I just think all the anti-America stuff is so tiring.
Who do have to send their kids to terrible schools. That is a fact because of their zip codes. And to sit here arrogantly and say, well, my kids go to great schools. I live in a great neighborhood. That's your experience.
The roads are crumbling.
Most people in this country.
I mean,
come on, bro.
I just think what Shermichael is saying, I mean, that is the point that you're making. Trump has taken that mantle up, but it used to be honest, the Democrats were the ones saying, let's get out of these wars. Let's get out of Vietnam. Let's get out of Afghanistan. Let's invest in America and inner cities. And Republicans would say, let's fund the Department of Defense. So that's the flip that's happening.
Can you imagine the CNN contributor there, Shermichael Singleton, said, yeah, look, the roads suck. I mean, what about us? I mean, the schools are failing, and elitist.
He said that's anti-American.
Elitist Brian Stelter goes, well, where I live, the roads are fine, and the schools are high quality. That's the attitude. That's your answer. That's your
and to point out the flaw is somehow an anti-American stance. That's a joke. The thumb is a joke.
Matt Bear, what's going on with traffic?
Yeah, Nigel looking at the south side, crash clear. Eastbound 465 after 31. Slow back to I-69. Stop and go to Kentucky Avenue. Eastbound 70 is a grind, man, with that southbound 65 closure. Eastbound 70 completely jammed at the moment from Sam Jones Expressway into the south split. We're moving in parts. 21 minutes on the delay. And yes, southbound 65 closed at West for another 14 days. You have to get out into downtown at the West Street exit. Reroutes at WIBC. Traffic details are there. Eastbound 465 stop and go after Meridian over to Allisonville Road. Crash Carmel Drive at Old Meridian Street. Traffic sponsored by BJ's Wholesale Club. BJ's Wholesale Club is opening soon in Carmel. BJ's members get up to 25% off grocery store prices every day. Visit bjs.com/Carmel or the membership center at Rangeline Crossing Plaza to join today. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up a little bit after 4:30, Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor here in Indiana. These negative campaign ads that mysteriously showed up in everybody's mailboxes. We'll talk to him about that. Next is This Anything with a very angry, wealthy cyclist caught on camera berating a young man. Oh, you got to hear this audio. That's next. And Is This Anything on the Hammer and Nigel Show. Hey, it's the Hammer and Nigel Show. Use anything other than American standard equipment when it comes to your HVAC, when it comes to your air conditioning, your furnace. There's a reason why I use American standard equipment, because they're the best in the business. And we love the local independent American standard dealers right here in Central Indy.
Big Nige, how about Reinhardt Heating and Cooling in Danville? Danny Reinhardt started Reinhardt Heating and Cooling 38 years ago. They're one of the longest tenured American standard dealers in all of Central Indy. Danny's sons and daughter are among the well-trained experts that are also on staff at Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, hooking up Hendricks and the surrounding counties. Make sure that furnace is ready and good to go for when the cold weather moves in. Call Reinhardt in Danville, 317-745-4526. Reinhardt Heating and Cooling in Danville. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his trillion-dollar spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Indiana has nearly 2,800 pig farmers and ranks 5th in the country in pork production. Hoosier pig farmers are raising some of the finest pork in the nation. October is National Pork Month. From family farms to innovative operations, Indiana's pig farmers are committed to quality and sustainability, all while providing your family pork that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals that are good for you. So the next time you're at the grocery store or your favorite restaurant, make pork your choice and celebrate Indiana pig farmers.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today.
Today.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Can you hear me?
So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Ethan Hatcher filling in for Hammer. You sent this one to me. It's cracking me up. I'll give this one to you because you were obviously excited about this.
Yes.
This wealthy cyclist who's in his 70s got a nasty shock after yelling, "I have more rights than you," at a young driver. This guy's name's Gary Peacock, and he's a multi-millionaire, lives in a $3.5 million home in Park City, Utah. He was filmed ranting and raving at a skateboarder. Skateboarder's name is Pierce, 22 years old. And this guy called the cops on this guy.
Yeah.
What was he saying? He got too close?
That he got too close. I guess in Park City, they have a city ordinance that you have to give at least a 3-foot berth to bicyclists. And he believed that this kid didn't give him a wide enough berth. So he speeds up and catches up to the kid as he's parking at the skate park and then proceeds to lay hands on the kid, on the car, and get nasty. I sent you some audio. Did we have that?
Yeah, we got the first part. Go ahead.
I'm going to go skate.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You're not. You're not going anywhere. Come.
Dude, stop.
No. You're a Dude, literally stop. No, I'm calling the police and you're not leaving. You're not leaving. You're not leaving. Bro's got his hands on me and stuff. Yeah, guy won't leave because of the police. Look at this dude. What are you doing? Why are you so cranky? I'm calling the police. Dude, why are you so cranky? No, you're not going anywhere. Oh my God. You're not going anywhere. I don't want to be aggressive
cyclist
with you, dude.
detaining this kid.
You pushed into me. I asked you to wait. You didn't wait. You did. How'd you get out of the car? You yanked. Yeah, I've got a very aggressive teenager here that almost hit me in the car, and now he won't give me his last name, and now he's trying to leave. I'm in Park City, near the Park City Park.
We're at the skate park.
The skate park. Mm-hmm. He's in a Subaru. Mm-hmm. He's in a Subaru. Yeah, he's a license plate. The license plate is, and he's recording.
Okay, all right, we got this first part.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's just a total jerk. What a complete tool.
What? So let me. I have one more piece of audio to play the second piece. Now listen here,
dude. You think I was in your space over there?
Yes.
Then
I'm riding a bike. I have more rights than you.
What, dude?
I have the right
more
of
rights
way.
than you on my bike.
I have the right of way when I'm on a bike. Do you ride a bike?
Sometimes.
Oh, you don't ride a bike. Obviously, you wouldn't have been so close to me if you did.
So I ask you, Ethan, and you know the outcome of this as well. Is this anything?
Absolutely, this is something, because finally the cyclist said it out loud. We know all these bastards think the same way. I have more rights than you. And I tell them, you get your ass on the sidewalk. I don't care. The sidewalk's empty. That's where bikes should go. And this misbegotten concept that we have of putting cyclists and motor vehicles on equal footing is absolute nonsense. It's ridiculous.
Well, I say it's dangerous.
Yes.
I will say that. I do believe that cyclists have just as much as right to the road as the...
Get your ass on the sidewalk.
It's a lot more uneven and bumpy on the sidewalk. Although the roads in Indianapolis, I'm not sure.
Full of potholes. Yeah, they're not smooth, Nigel. You're not winning that argument.
One more thing here. I really wanted to get your take on this. A Massachusetts restaurant had to temporarily close down and put out an apology after allowing actors dressed in Nazi outfits to dine in the restaurant. The actors, they were part of this American Heritage Museum World War II reenactment, right? So here is this guy named Gary. He is the museum trustee talking about the incident.
It's at a time when acts of anti-Semitic violence are on the rise, when neo-Nazis have taken to the streets. The Holocaust continues to be denied. So wearing German uniforms in a public space, that's beyond thoughtless. That's repugnant. It does not exist off the field, which is why there is strict protocols that the American Heritage Museum has regarding what to wear, when to wear it, how to wear it. And clearly that
so how do we feel about this? Is this anything?
No, this is nothing. If anything, it's something that they're making a fuss about it. What are they supposed to do? Tell these reenactors to go to hell, don't eat here? What? I don't understand that thought process.
I don't know. I understand the reenactors. I think it sounds like this museum trustee is like, look, the protocol is leave the Nazi costumes in the closet, and then you can go get dinner.
Well, maybe they should have went through the drive-thru. I don't think
the guy at IHOP understands the difference between these guys are just museum World War II reenactors. It's okay that they have the Nazi. I'm not trying to be soft here. I'm just saying there's probably you leave the.
But when was the last time you actually saw a Nazi walking in full regalia through the streets? Like the going assumption is, we've got a crowd here. I don't think so.
All right, let's get Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor of Indiana, in here. That is next. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. What's being described as a food enthusiast's dream is happening November 8th through the 12th at the State Fair. It's the World Food Championships. Get your tickets at worldfoodchampionships.com. Hundreds of cooking teams, 1,200 plus chefs, nearly 40 countries, all battling in unique food categories for a portion of that $450,000 prize pool.
I am so excited for this. like it's going to be walking into the world's best tailgate. All of the food, all of the barbecue, the fire activations. Get your tickets now. WorldFoodChampionships.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
It's October and the weather is changing. And if you want in on a little secret, October is the best time to buy new windows. Fixing your old windows before winter is a priority. Call who I called, Window Nation.
For every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 for free. And there's no limit. So think about how much you could save, and your house will look better. Your heating and air bills will be lower because these windows are energy efficient. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It'll probably be warmer than what you might expect. Sunny, 67 degrees in the heart of downtown. Your radar is completely clear. You'll have a low of about 40 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. Expect this winter to be a bit on the warmer side based off the NOAA's Climate Prediction Center.
But typically when we're looking for above normal temperatures, that usually means that it's probably going to be more liquid precipitation.
Earl Breon with the National Weather Service admits that there are still going to be some chances for snow. It's the first day of the Delphi murders trial. The defense's opening statements during the first session this morning lasted about an hour. They claim suspect Richard Allen was not on the trail during the same time as Libby and Abby, the 2 girls who were killed. The defense will be presenting evidence to back up those claims at some point over the next 4 weeks. Session 2 is supposed to be wrapped up by 6 tonight. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar was killed yesterday. What does Donald Trump think about that?
He was not a good person. That's my reaction. That's sometimes what happens.
Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today he hopes Sinwar's death will lead to some more peace in Gaza. Vice President Kamala Harris says the former president is not the kind of guy who gets how hard Americans work.
Donald Trump comes from a place where he really does not appreciate or understand how most people in our country work very hard for all that they have, and that there is great dignity in their work.
Harris is campaigning in Michigan today, looking to convince some more voters ahead of Election Day next month. IU Indianapolis will soon start construction on a $110 million athletic center with funding approved by the state, says Athletic Director Luke Basso.
A huge day for our campus, huge day for the city of Indianapolis. Our new IU Indianapolis on-campus athletic center will be the home to IU Indianapolis men's and women's basketball, volleyball, our athletic offices.
Basso says that USA Track and Fields offices are also going to be located in the new athletic center, which is expected to be done by 2026. And the market ends the week in the green. The Dow was up by several points to close at 43,275. The NASDAQ up by 115, finishing the day at 18,489. And the S&P 500 increased by 23 to close at 5,864. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation, talking with Richard Michaelis about basements and foundations. Richard, what are some of the signs that a homeowner should watch out for to spot potential foundation or basement problems?
If you see cracks or bowing in your basement walls, uneven floors, or cracked bricks, these could indicate foundation issues. And keep in mind, if it's a significant foundation problem, it will only worsen over time. If you notice water in your basement, visible mold, damp walls, or musty odors, it could be a sign of a foundation issue or a waterproofing problem.
How can homeowners know for sure if there's a real problem?
By calling Michaelis for a free inspection. We're a local family-owned and operated company with 39-plus years of experience. If repairs are needed, we offer a lifetime warranty and 0% down on foundation and basement repairs. You see our work before we see your money.
Foundations, basements, and crawl spaces. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call or text 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
The traffic at 434. Here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, if you can, please avoid the northwest end of downtown at 10th at Eskenazi Avenue. Shooting investigation going on there. Eastbound at 70 jammed. Sam Jones Expressway into the Southwest, that's 34 minutes. Inbound 65 closed at West Street, will be for 14 days. In the meantime, we are stopped from west back to 21st. Looking at the south side, eastbound 465 stop and go from Sam Jones Expressway to the White River. That's left over from an earlier crash. Lebanon northbound 65 slow from Indianapolis Road up past State Road 32. And eastbound 465 loaded after Meridian over to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better hot tubs. 24-hour water filtration, purification, and aeration means better water quality. Natural minerals and Epsom salts means better relaxation. Discover more at royalspa.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
In the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Expect our cold night trend to continue into our Friday night with lows down in the upper 30s to low 40s. Saturday will be a beautiful and sunny day with highs in the lower 70s with lots of sunshine. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the Level On The Go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oh, yeah! I'm Nigel. Ethan Hatcher is here, so I get home from fall break, and I've got the mail is all piled up, and then one of the flyers in there, it's not like a postcard size. It's like the size of my computer screen.
Yeah, letterbox, laptop size.
It's got this guy's next to me. He's got his face on it. It's like, you're screaming, Donald, and it's like a litany list of things you've done wrong in your past. It's an attack ad. We have Donald Rainwater live in studio, Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. Stuff about deadbeat dads and, back child support and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, where did this come from? Who paid for this? Who did this? And is it even true?
From the Republicans.
It came from Republicans. Donald Rainwater is our guest. I guess that my first question is, were you blindsided by this? I mean, you're in politics. Attack ads happen, right? I mean, this is par for the course, but from the Republican Party?
Well, I first thank you for having me on the show, and for all of the listeners, thank you for tuning in. And I just want to say that I was surprised for a couple of reasons, Nigel. First of all, I was surprised because I'm a Libertarian candidate, and supposedly I'm only polling at 6 to 9%. And so I was a little surprised that I was so important to this particular race for governor that they would actually mail something out to people when I ran 4 years ago and there was no mention of any of this.
And so who sent it out? Who was it? The Republican?
Well, from what I saw, because of course I didn't get one yet, but evidently they don't want me to not vote for me. I don't know. But it said at the top, I believe, that it was the Republican State Committee. The Republican State Committee, which if you Google the Republican State Committee, you can go and see the big long list of all the folks who've donated the hundreds of thousands of dollars apiece so that they can send out this kind of informative mailing.
So donors don't necessarily know that this thing is going out, but they're using donor money to send.
Oh, I would assume they would have to. That's where they get their money from.
Like the fall dinner and stuff like that. Is that?
I'm sorry.
Like from the fall dinner, for example, where people are donating to the Republican Party,
like the Lincoln Day dinners and stuff.
Sure, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
I would assume. I don't know for a fact because obviously I'm not a part of the Republican Party, and they didn't ask me about this before they did it.
Well, let's get to the actual content. Let's get to the heart of the mailer. I don't agree with the language that they used. I think it's certainly very unfair to call you perennial loser, deadbeat dad. I know you personally.
Well, I've run for office several times and lost.
I suppose that's what they're referring to, but I think the larger inference is one of character. And certainly it is fair that you've made a central aspect of your campaign the financial reliability of the Republicans, and then now they're digging in at really the only thing that we have to go on, which is your individual record. What do you have to say with these accusations of not paying child support, and then also I've heard about the consumer debt that also accumulated around the same time?
Sure. So first of all, let's clarify the time period.
Sure.
This was 30 years ago that this started. My first wife and I divorced. We had 2 children. Shortly after our divorce, I lost my job. And I will be very forthcoming. I won't dodge anything. I spent a good 10 to 12 years trying to get back on my feet.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever experienced a period of time where you feel like you take one step forward and you take 2 steps back, that was the 90s for me. As far as the child support goes, like I said, lose a job, get a little behind, start to try to catch it up. I know that there have been comments made about contempt of court. Anybody who's ever been to family court knows that if you get a little behind on your child support, when you go to court, the judge will say, okay, well, you're making an attempt, but you haven't caught it all up, so we're going to file this in contempt, and you're going to come back in 6 months, and we're going to see where it's at.
Go ahead, Nigel.
Go ahead.
So I guess my question would be for your constituents and the people that are voting for you. If one of your main platforms is getting the financial house in order for the Republicans and the spending and the budget and the health care, blah, blah, blah.
You mean for the state government?
For the state government.
Yeah, I haven't said anything about
I know, but Republicans, the state government. I'm sorry,
right.
Yes. I guess the question would be, okay, that's great, but if you can't get your own financial house in order, then how is it going to be when you're in power?
I think that's a great point, Nigel. And so I would answer that by saying when I got my feet under me for the last 15 years, I was able to get my financial situation to the place where not only have I bought a house, but we bought a home, paid a mortgage, paid it for 10 years, never missed a payment, was never late, sold that house, bought another home. I have, if you were to look at my credit report, you'd see that for the past 15 years, it's been pretty clean. What I've said on social media, and I'll say it here now, I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger. I learned from those mistakes. I made an effort to better myself and make sure that those things that happened to me in the 90s aren't happening now, and they're not happening in the future. Hopefully we don't have an economic disaster that would cause me to lose everything. But here again, it's a matter of, yes, I had some problems, but currently I'm doing things the way that I would think that people would want to see them done.
I think it's totally fair to point out that this is all behind you. This is, well past 15 years. I think it was finally resolved in, 2009 or 2010 with the final.
I filed bankruptcy in order, and I think, here again, if somebody wants to consider that a disqualifier for me to be governor, I understand, but I will utilize Donald Trump's explanation when he was asked about his 4 bankruptcies. I utilized the tools in the system that were available to fix the problem I had.
The question I would like to ask you is, what would the difference be? Because I know Hoosier voters have a lot of grace in their heart, and especially if people can own up and admit mistakes that they've made and show where that has changed and that they can move forward, then Hoosiers are willing to overlook people's past. And this is, as far as scandals go, very tame stuff compared to what other politicians have done in their lives and their backgrounds. But what I would like to ask you is, what have you learned? Because obviously that was a 15-year stretch of a lot of bad decisions that seemed to be made, and then you got on the other side of it and seem to have cleaned things up in your life. So what have you learned from those 15 years, and how are things different now?
Well, I think first and foremost, I was able to put myself into a situation where opportunity to grow financially, occupationally, was available to me, and I took advantage of it. When I got out of the Navy in 1990, finding a job that matched the skill set that I had when I was in the Navy was not particularly easy. Whether that's my fault or not, I don't know. That is for the individual voter to decide, I guess, when they decide to cast their vote. But around 1998, I found myself in a good occupational situation. I was able to utilize that to grow a skill set that was marketable and highly desired, and I've grown that skill set, and that has not been easy. But I believe that I have been fortunate, which is why, in my opinion, what I've done in the last 15 years doesn't make me any better than anybody else, especially anybody who is going through what I went through in the 90s. And today in Indiana, we have a lot of people who are struggling financially, who are struggling with job loss and other issues. And so, I understand.
I want to know, and finally, before we let you go here, Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor here in Indiana, the Republican State Committee spending money on this attack ad. What can we glean from that aspect? I mean, they could have used that money to help the guy that's running against Andre Carson here in Marion County. Any number of ways to use that money, but why do you think they went after you out of nowhere?
Well, if I don't know, and I'm sure that when I venture a guess, it might not sit well with some people, but my guess would be that they don't feel like they are doing well enough on their own, and they need to trim votes from me in order to make sure that they have enough votes to win. Or worse, that they have enough votes to have I think the phrase I heard was a majority and a mandate when they get elected. They want to get over 50%, because I have heard rumblings that the General Assembly has kind of made it clear that they're not all that excited about working with Senator Braun.
There you go, Donald Rainwater.
Can we have time for one more question?
Absolutely.
There was one more question that I wanted to ask.
Yes.
And it just has to do with the details of, again, that 15-year stretch where you were, really up against it. You said that the falling behind in your child support payments was resultant from losing your job, but the documents that I saw indicated that there were multiple wage garnishments that were ordered by the court against you. And maybe I don't know the details. I would love for you to explain how would they be garnishing wages if you had lost your job?
Well, first of all, you fall behind when you lose a job.
Yeah.
Right? If you lose, if you put yourself in a situation where you make a lot of bad decisions about jobs that you take, and those jobs don't last as long as you'd like them to, that situation happens over and over. And so that's what that decade was. I need a job. I'll take a job. Oh, that job only lasted 6 months, and now I'm unemployed again. Here again, those are learning opportunities.
Yeah.
And the reality is, and here's the one last thing I'd like to say about that.
Sure.
I
have the floor, my friend.
I always encourage every voter, don't vote for me because I have an L by my name. Don't vote for somebody else because they have an R or a D. Everything that they're dredging up from my past, my everyday average Hoosier past, is stuff that's public record. Go out there for yourself. Look at the stuff that's public record on me. Make up your own mind. Don't decide from a flyer that has been spun to make me worse than I am.
Right.
Because the reality is the stuff they said about me, if that has happened to you in your life, evidently that's what they think about you too. But I want every voter to do the research on every candidate. You might find that there's some stuff out there on some of these other folks that's just as bad as what they're saying about me.
Where can people find out more about your campaign? And
rainwaterforindiana.com.
Thank you for making time for us. We are way late. Donald Rainwater, live in studio, Libertarian candidate for governor of Indiana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sammer Nigel Show. Planning on having Galaxy Concrete Coatings back out to my house. This time I'm going to work on my basement. The concrete floor in my furnace room is pretty scary, to say the least. So was my garage floor before they got a hold of it. Galaxy Concrete Coatings turned my garage floor into something new and beautiful and just smooth, but not slippery. They don't use epoxy. They use polyurea, which is standard, the new standard when it comes to garage coatings and concrete coatings. So check out their website. Plenty of time this year for you to have this done. Whether it be your garage, basement, pool, deck, any indoor, outdoor area concrete, check out their website to see pictures and get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or give them a call, 751-9070.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
18 years ago, Tom and Sarah Joyner started Joyner Homes in Greenfield, and to date, they've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. The homes they build are different than the cookie-cutter houses you see today. They build homes that have the character like the homes of yesterday, but have modern features, character-rich features, exposed wood beams, stone fireplaces, custom build-ins, and smart design. Building a new home doesn't have to be a headache. Joyner Homes will build you a truly unique, beautiful home. Visit JoynerHomes.com.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Don't want the worry of maintaining your furnace or air conditioner? Join B&W's Premier Club today. Visit bplusw.com/radio to learn more. B&W is your independent American Standard air dealer.
This week at Sundown Gardens, it's 20% off container shrubs and 30% off container trees. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Royal Spa.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
Matt Bear, what's up?
Downtown crash northbound 65 at 70 before the Washington Street exit, and the left lane is blocked, stopping us into the south split. And further backing up eastbound 70, that's back to Holt Road now for 39 minutes. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, changing the way Indy thinks about concrete. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Went way late with Donald Rainwater. Got to take another break. 68 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC. Oh, man, good friends Spencer and company there at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Incredible sale going on right now. These sale prices are, we're talking back to like pre-pandemic prices, and it's not going to happen again. The sale, by the way, has been extended to Monday, November 4th. Everything from Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, Bassett, and mattresses from Tempur-Pedic, Stearns, and Foster, and Sierra Sleep. Interest-free financing available and free delivery.
Located in Columbus, Thompson Furniture and Mattress, owned and operated by the same Hoosier family since 1927. And when everybody else is raising up their prices, they still have free delivery and setup if you live within 75 miles of their store in Columbus. They take care of you guys. They take care of us here on the Hammer and Nigel show. So if you need a couch, a love seat, a mattress, you name it, Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus is where you need to go. ThompsonFurniture.net. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
If we are truly the racing capital of the world, we want our audience to be more reflective of the world around us. And Radio 1 has been a great partner in helping us do that.
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
I'm Michael Kaltenmark, Senior Director of Marketing for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and proud partner and client of Radio 1.
Diversity.
Radio 1's diverse reach not only allows us to get our message in front of a diverse audience, but then also gets those folks interested as we look to invite more diverse audiences to the track to join us, to let them know that the Speedway is open to them and that they're welcome there. And they've been a strategic partner in helping us achieve that goal.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
We've been able to attract an even larger audience and fill the Speedway with more people because of our partnership with with Radio 1.
Text BUSINESS to 71007 to take your advertising to the next level.
Radio 1's right there with us in the trenches.
Get results with WIBC.
Rampant crime, crumbling roads, unaffordable housing, open borders, and high inflation. That's Andre Carson's record after 16 years in Congress. Have you had enough yet? It's time for John Schmitz, an Indy native who's working for safe streets, an end to inflation, and a bright future for Indy. John Schmitz has the experience, creativity, and energy to tackle the issues holding back Indianapolis. Help make Schmitz happen. Vote John Schmitz for Congress. Learn more at johnschmitzforcongress.com. I'm John Schmitz. I approve this message, paid for by Schmitz for Indiana.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Local news coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
Battleground Blitz continues. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. After 3 stops in Wisconsin yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris holding 3 more rallies today in Michigan.
At a rally in Grand Rapids.
This election is truly about 2 very different visions for our nation. Ours, that is focused on the future. Donald Trump's, that is focused on the past.
Harris's campaign has other rallies planned in the coming days in Michigan and Georgia in a tight race in the battleground states against former President Donald Trump, who holds a rally in Detroit tonight and 2 events in Pennsylvania over the weekend.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Trump telling reporters he's not tired after the vice president claimed she's heard his team is saying he's exhausted.
She doesn't go to any events. She's a loser. She doesn't go to any events. She didn't even show up for the Catholics last night at the hotel. It was insulting.
Referencing an annual charity dinner he attended that's become tradition for candidates, also calling Harris not a smart person and someone who shouldn't represent the country. Renewed hope for a hostage deal now that Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar has been killed in Gaza. President Biden calling it a moment of justice during a meeting with European allies in Germany.
I told the Prime Minister of Israel yesterday, let's also make this moment an opportunity to seek a path to peace, a better future in Gaza without Hamas.
And so far, Hamas is doubling down.
A Hamas official has stated today that the death of Sinwar doesn't change anything. In fact, it strengthens them, and that there will be no hostage return until Israel withdraws from Gaza. Ally Hezbollah in southern Lebanon said it will also continue to fight, and the string puller, Iran, noted the Sinwar death only inspires others to defy Israel.
Fox's Greg Palcott in northern Israel. America is listening to Fox News.
Awareness Month is in full swing.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
That turned out to not be true. 67 degrees with clear skies over the monuments. Your radar is clear of any trouble. Low of 40 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. The last words Liberty German said to her grandmother were, "Grandma, I'll be okay." Donnie Burgess reports on Session 1 at the Delphi murders trial.
Harrison, the first witness the state of Indiana called was Becky Patty, the grandmother of Liberty German, and she proceeded to retell a story that she has probably retold and relived several times in the last 7 years. The final moments before Liberty German left with Abigail Williams for the Monon High Bridge, and then when they went missing, and then the search, and then when Becky Patty had a moment of hope that the girls were found, until her hopes were crushed when she was told that their bodies were found. At several points she started crying, which caused the
at least some of the members of the jury to cry as well. And that's when Special Judge Fran Gall realized it may be time for a break. The state of Indiana is focusing on the emotion in this case. They say Richard Allen used fear and power to control the girls to get what he wanted, and that was to end their lives. The defense plans to attack the timeline of events, call into question the credibility of the bullet, and provide evidence from Liberty German's phone to say that the girls were not actually killed on the 13th, but rather the 14th. It was a long Session 1 here in Delphi, Indiana, and Session 2 is ongoing now and will conclude around 6 o'clock. Reporting in Delphi, Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
2 people were hurt in a shooting today near Eskenazi Hospital, says IMPD. It happened near West 10th and St. Margaret's Drive. Both victims in serious condition. That's all officers have said so far. From Santa Claus, Indiana, to the Slammer, former NFL quarterback and Indiana native Jay Cutler was arrested last night in Tennessee. Franklin police say Cutler wrecked his car and appeared to have had a few drinks before he got behind the wheel. A couple of guns also found in the vehicle. Cutler was arrested on 4 charges of DUI. One of them, he posted his $5,000 bond to get out of the Williamson County Jail by 10 p.m. last night. And the new athletic center at IU Indianapolis is going to cost $110 million. Here's Ryan Hedrick.
The state budget committee approved the funding to build the center Thursday. Athletic director Luke Basso says the arena will host men's and women's basketball, volleyball, athletic offices, and the USA Track and Field corporate offices.
In the hopes to have the project done in Q4 of 26.
The new athletic center is about 130,000 square feet. If you can't wrap your head around that, that's the size of about 2.5 football fields. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC. Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:05.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and Halloween is coming. I'm a big fan of Zero Res because their platinum cleaning systems are truly the best you can find. And with all the spooky stuff that's ended up in your carpets, just know that Zero Res systems can and will safely and effectively remove all the deeply embedded dirt, dander, and even the scary bacteria in your carpets and floors. The game changer is the patented ZR water that uses no soap, leaves no residue, and there are no harsh chemicals, because they just aren't needed to get things really clean. That's why Zero Res is my go-to carpet cleaning company, because I know that they can really get rid of all of the uglies. I just love these folks. And remember, there's something scarier than ghosts and goblins hiding in your home, and that's your air ducts. This month, take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Now mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129, plus you get $75 off air duct cleaning too. Call 317-388-5141 or book things online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
With traffic at 5:06, here's Matt Bear.
Crash northbound 6570 downtown. It's before the Washington Street exit, blocking the left lane, stopping us through the south split and onto eastbound 70. Now 70's backed up to Holt for a 37-minute delay to the south split. Inbound 65 closed at west for another 14 days. October 31st early is what we're looking at for reopening. In the meantime, if you need reroutes, check out at WIBC Traffic. Inbound 69 stop and go, 106th Street, 282nd. And on the southwest side, southbound 465 loads up before 70 over to Kentucky Avenue. Traffic sponsored by LifeLock. During Cybersecurity Awareness Month, beware of phishing scams. Choose LifeLock for comprehensive identity theft and protection. Start your 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/cybersafety. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Expect our cold night trend to continue into our Friday night with lows down in the upper 30s to low 40s. Saturday will be a beautiful and sunny day with highs in the lower 70s with lots of sunshine. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Ethan Hatcher in for Jason Hammer. You want to pimp your Saturday show real quick?
Saturday night on The Circle, 7 to 9. And you can also follow my antics on Twitter at Ethan Hatcher.
Okay, we've been playing audio at the top of every hour of Trump getting big laughs at the Al Smith dinner in New York, which raises money for Catholic charities. It happens. It basically happens every election cycle where the people that are running for office get together and break bread on both sides of the aisle and roast each other. And it's
a time-honored tradition.
Except for Kamala didn't show up.
For the first time since Walter Mondale.
I know. And look what happened to Walter Mondale.
Exactly.
Here is a little bit more from Donald Trump. Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck, sitting right next to Donald Trump at the podium. This was pretty good.
Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
It's true.
Now, that one, Chuck didn't really have a smile on his face. There's a couple of Trump jokes where Chuck Schumer was laughing.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall and watch Chuck Schumer's expression in real time while Donald Trump is going on a tear.
So we move from that joke about Chuck Schumer becoming the first woman president to this joke about Kamala's running mate, Tim Walz.
I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walz.
Old tampon Tim.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to pivot now to IU football. We're going to bring into the studio WIBC news director John Herrick, who also serves as sideline reporter for IU football.
Well,
is that the title? What's the official title?
It's pre-half game and post, halftime and post game on the IU radio.
Okay, so a lot of analysis from you at halftime and post game. And first of all, phenomenal job at the Indiana Broadcaster Spectrum Awards. WIBC Newsroom won an award for their election coverage for the May primaries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There.
Appreciate that.
Let's talk about IU football, though. The nuts and bolts of what people need to know about this team. They're coming off a bye. They are undefeated.
Yep.
What was the expectation of IU football coming into the season versus what we're seeing now?
I think the expectation was that Curt Cignetti was going to help this team find a way to win as the new head coach. I just don't know that everybody expected Indiana to become the first bowl-eligible team in America, which they did when they beat Northwestern 41-24 the week before the bye week. But now they turn their attention to a very good Nebraska team who's also coming off of a bye. They're 5-1, so if they beat Indiana on Saturday, they become bowl-eligible. So Nebraska's got a great defense. They've got the most sacks in the Big Ten, and Indiana's offensive line is going to have to find a way to protect their quarterback, Curtis Rourke, against that Nebraska defense.
When is the last time IU has started out undefeated?
I believe it was 1967 was the last time they started 6-0.
Okay.
And I think that year they started 8-0.
Okay.
So, it's been a while since we've seen anything like this.
And then the last time they've been in a bowl game, which was it the
Penix year, 2021.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. When they had a 6-2 record and they went and played and lost to Hammer's Tennessee Volunteers.
That's right. We're speaking with John Herrick, who gives analysis for IU football and basketball games, halftime, postgame, and he will be there on Saturday. Sold out. When's the last time it's been sold out? Probably, again, Penix
era. Yep, 3 years since it's been sold out. Yep, and Nebraska fans are going to travel. They always send in a lot of fans, and Nebraska is one of those Big Ten teams, along with Michigan and Ohio State, whose fans travel real well. So, but again, the stadium is going to be at a fever pitch. It's been a great week all week long in Bloomington. Fans are excited.
Talk to me about the new head coach, C. Cignetti. He is an older guy, and was that a concern for people coming in?
No, it wasn't. Actually,
and what's his background as well?
Yeah, he's coached at all kinds of different places. IU Pennsylvania, Elon, and then, of course, at James Madison University. Last year, he had coached there for the last 4 years. And as he said in media days, he wins. Google him. And that's what he said.
Yeah.
And
I win, Google me.
Right. And his record is now, with a 6-0 start this year, his overall head coaching record is 125-35. It's just,
wow.
I mean, he's just had success everywhere he's been.
And what is his coaching style, would you say?
Tough, physical. He demands excellence from his players. He's going to run the football to try to grind games out. He wants his defense to play physical and get after the quarterback. And then on the flip side, he expects his quarterback to be very precise with the throws and not take any unnecessary risks. And he wants his receivers to go up and catch the football. So physical, tough, demanding, and also very disciplined and uses the clock well. I mean, that's a Kurt Cignetti coach team.
So we talked about the expectations at the beginning of the season versus what we're seeing now. Moving forward, what are the expectations for this IU football game, or IU football team? They have some tough opponents coming up in the schedule, including Nebraska this weekend.
This Nebraska team, and then they got Washington the week after that. Washington beat Michigan at home. Then you've got to play Michigan later in the year at home. Michigan State on the road. That won't be an easy one, and their toughest remaining test is going to be at Ohio State in late November. Then they close out the season at home against Purdue. Purdue seems to have found something with this new freshman quarterback they have. So none of these games that are left on Indiana's schedule will be easy, but you got to feel like a team that's scored over 40 points now in 5 straight games can find a way to sustain some sort of offensive rhythm. But that's what's going to make this game great on Saturday, Nigel. You've got Nebraska's strength, which is their defense, and then Indiana's big strength is their offense. So it's going to be strength versus strength. We'll see how it shakes out.
And I can't wait for that game. I'll be watching it kickoff at noon on our sister sports talk station, 107.5 The Fan. Just one more thing, and I'll let you go, about head coach Cignetti. He really endeared himself to the fans when he first got hired, when he walked into, I believe it was Assembly Hall, right? Before a basketball game?
Yeah, it was during a basketball game. And they just brought him in during a media timeout. He was already there watching it. He had his introductory press conference later that day, and he said, I'm not going to back down from anybody. I don't take a back seat to anybody. I don't start now. Purdue sucks. So does Michigan and Ohio State. And the crowd just went bananas. Absolutely bananas. Then he had the I win, Google me statement later. And he did that. And he has since then he has said, I did it because the fan base was very, felt very torn down. They felt upset. They didn't really feel any hope. So he was like, I want to come in here and give these people a reason to hope again. And then once the season started, he became all business. So that was kind of his strategy there and why he did that.
Here, John Herrick at the halftime and post-game analysis. IU football on our sister sports talk station, 107.5 The Fan, starting kickoff, I believe, at noon.
We go on the air at 11.
You go on the air at 11, and it is a sold-out stadium down in Bloomington, and it is going to be fun. Thank you, John, for taking some time with us here this afternoon.
Not a problem, Nige. Thank you.
Matt Baer, what's up in traffic?
Northbound 6570 downtown, crash before the Washington Street exit, blocking the left lane, stopping us through the south split. And on 2, eastbound 70 back to Holt Road. That is a delay now of 37 minutes to make it from Holt Road into the south split. On the west side, southbound 465, stop and go before Washington Street, 2-man road. North side, eastbound 465, stop and go Westfield Boulevard over to Allisonville Road. Crash, Hamilton County, Cumberland Road at 106th Street. And in Boone County, northbound 65 slows before Indianapolis Avenue up to State Road 32. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for expert advice. Thousands of in-stock appliance options, fast delivery, and professional installation. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand Appliance showroom. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up next, editor-in-chief of Breitbart, Alex Marlo, one of my favorite guests. Great insight on the election. Kamala Harris, the interview she did with Fox News, the momentum of the Trump campaign, plus a big announcement for Breitbart. We'll talk to Alex next. It's 68 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Work truck, need a new fleet vehicle? Andy Moore Ford has got you covered. Over 800 new vehicles available on the lot, including the Super Duty trucks available starting only at $43,995. You've got F-150s, transit vans, the custom work vehicles for any industry, all built Ford tough, and Rangers with that all-new body style from only $36,995. And of course, you want the cool, fun stuff. They've got the Broncos, the Bronco Sports. I'm driving a Bronco. I own a Bronco Sport. And interest
interest rates, as low as 0% APR available on new Andy Moore Fords. And when you need service, Andy Moore Ford will come to you. Just schedule it online at andymoreford.com. They'll come pick up the vehicle, service it, and bring it back to you as good as new. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Visit them on Main Street. Tell them Tony Cat sent you, or find them online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
andymoreford.com.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matters Show. Next week is Halloween week, and that means it's time to deal with fears and scary things. Fortunately, Halloween is a made-up theme, but there are many issues going on right now in the financial, economic, tax, and political world that are very real and downright scary. Join me this weekend as we discuss these issues in detail and what you can do specifically to calm your fears and not be scared. The Retirement Money Matters Show airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
Make your game day experience the best it can be. The Colts VIP Tailgate, presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration, exclusively from BullseyeEventGroup.com. The party is on for every Colts home game with an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink VIP experience and DJ Skids providing the entertainment. Live large and pregame like a pro. If you need tickets to the game, Bullseye Event Group can help you in that department too. Make sure you're part of the party before the next Colts home game. Go to BullseyeEventGroup.com. That's BullseyeEventGroup.com.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing. Those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
When it's time to renovate, it's time to call Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com, because it's about the process. It's about dealing with professionals who are with you every step of the way, communicating how things work. The best craftsmen and professionals who have been doing kitchens and bathrooms in Indianapolis for 2 decades. Talk to Booher Remodeling today about how they work and why it will work for you and your new kitchen. Call 317-852-5546, 852-5546, or online at Booher, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com.
Indiana has nearly 2,800 pig farmers and ranks 5th in the country in pork production. Hoosier pig farmers are raising some of the finest pork in the nation. October is National Pork Month. From family farms to innovative operations, Indiana's pig farmers are committed to quality and sustainability, all while providing your family pork that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals that are good for you. So the next time you're at the grocery store or your favorite restaurant, make pork your choice and celebrate Indiana pig farmers.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product.
Royal Spa.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by B&W HVAC, Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard air dealer.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Special guest on the hotline, Breitbart Editor-in-Chief Alex Marlo, with a huge announcement concerning Breitbart, a massive evolution of Breitbart news. Let's start with the Breitbart Fight Club.
Yeah, thank you for giving me a chance to plug it. You guys know I've been coming on WIBC for a really long time, about 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's a really long time. And as long as I've been on any radio station, to be honest with you. And we've announced something I think is going to mark the beginning of a new era of Breitbart, which is our Fight Club. It's the first time we've ever had a premium membership where people who subscribe and join are going to be able to get direct access inside our newsroom. And you're going to have to be able to interact with our editors, with our writers, with whoever's your favorite Breitbart personalities. We're going to be having Q&As. We have an interview show that I'm hosting called Breitbart Confidential, where I interview someone from Breitbart News about what's really going on behind the headlines. You'll get insight into how we choose stories and deeper analysis that just doesn't necessarily make for the best front page coverage. So it's something that is purely additive. If you like Breitbart, then everything you like about it stays the same. There's one added benefit, too, beyond that, which is that all of those annoying ads go away. So it's a severely reduced advertising experience, almost no ads. And for me, that's incentive enough to join up, just because you're now seeing it feels like dozens of annoying ads on the page every day, which is just a reality for our business. So you can get around those, and you're going to get all this other premium content along the way.
Yeah, you mentioned ads, and it happens on every website that I go to, ad after pop-up, 3 ads at a time, and so that's something that will be missing with Breitbart Fight Club, am I right?
Yeah, and that's big for me because, look, I'm spending every day, I've got this show, Breitbart Confidential. It's essentially a TV show. I'm the star of the show. I interview our people. It's highly produced. It's amazing. I think that right there is worth subscribing. That's not what I'm leading with in terms of why to get the Fight Club app. I think I'm leading with no more ads. That's what I'm saying first, is that you can read all those amazing stories you put out every day, over 100 original stories a day at Breitbart News, and then you get them with that clean, sleek look, like you're reading something you printed out for yourself. And I think that's the best part of it all.
And you're doing this now because why? Like, how long have you been working on it? What's the evolution of Breitbart Fight Club been like?
Yeah, good question. It's been over a year in the making.
Oh, wow.
The realities of our business are that Breitbart is able to sustain itself on advertising because we're so big, thanks to audiences like the WIBC audience. So we're very lucky in that regard. But if you want a more streamlined experience, the reality is we have to figure out a way to be able to evolve the business so that we're not dependent on all of those ads, because it's just too annoying for the audience. And we try to think of the audience, believe it or not, is our main focus, is trying to make sure the audience gets what they want, our readers. And so that was sort of the original conversation. But then we thought, well, it's not enough just to take the ads away. What more can we add? And so we've added daily audio headlines, so you can get your morning news update in audio form on the Breitbart Fight Club. A new show that I'm doing, as I mentioned, documentary content, Q&As with our writers and authors, and additional stuff coming down the pipeline. So there's a lot for you. It's a great way to support us, but you're going to get a ton of new content you're not going to be able to get anywhere else, with deeper insight from our top people.
We're speaking with Breitbart Editor-in-Chief Alex Marlo here on 93 WIBC, who, as you pointed out at the beginning of the segment, Alex, you've been calling this show for years, but you've been calling WIBC ever since the days of Greg Garrison and Big Tuesday, where they'd have a different Breitbart reporter on every hour. Tell me what, I want to ask you a question while I got you here on the phone. You're being very generous with your time today. Like, when people hear editor-in-chief, I feel like sometimes, I don't know what that entails exactly. I mean, you're up there, you're the boss man. What is your daily routine like? What does it mean to be editor-in-chief of a huge outfit like Breitbart?
Yeah, it's an interesting question I haven't been asked in a while. So it really started with when I was the first employee of Breitbart News. I had no real area of expertise. I had essentially connected with Andrew Breitbart while I was a college conservative activist. And he was going around speaking to groups of young people, trying to inspire them, get them involved in the movement. And I was sort of a gopher for a long time. And I eventually started to pick up editorial skills. And then when he started to launch his group blogs, what we call Big Hollywood, Big Government, Big Peace, it's all play on things like big business, big pharma, big oil, all that stuff the Democrats used to use in the left. We had big journalism. I learned how to run the system. So I knew how to get all the stories up, how to format the stories properly. And along the way, I just accumulated vast amounts of knowledge about the news business. And it wasn't specialized to the point where I was only comfortable talking about national security issues or only political issues. I could kind of do everything. Yeah. And because of that, it put me in a unique position when the company was run by Andrew, and then eventually by when the top person was Steve Bannon. where I was in a position to do the mechanics of the day-to-day and keep the trains running on time better than anyone because I just had a variety of knowledge. And what ended up happening is that I became an expert in headlines and front page layouts. And I was able to first know the mechanics of how everything worked and evolved into becoming, I believe, the best headline and front page editor that we had. And so naturally it became, because I'm not incompetent in managing people, I'm not a bad leader, it became natural that I would assume just the top role as editor-in-chief. And that was 11 years ago. So my day-to-day is gathering news, making sure we're on top of everything, laying out the front page, and making sure people are dedicating their time to the highest impact stories that we can, because we can't cover everything. I would like to think we cover more than any other newsroom in the world, especially person for person, because considering we're a really small staff relative to, let's say, the New York Times, I think we cover way more ground than they do with a lot less. But just making sure people are on the right stuff and hitting the right angles and then laying it out in packages on the front page such that people get optimum knowledge when they come to Breitbart.com.
I think, by the way, we are going to get to all the good stuff. Kamala Harris's interview on Fox a couple of days ago, Donald Trump's campaign. We're going to get to all that with you. I'm so curious as to your take, but I like learning. This is a little bit like the Breitbart Fight Club for me, just kind of getting the behind-the-scenes stuff. Not only do you have a unique talent in coming up with the headlines and being editor-in-chief, but you guys have a staff that is second to none, from John Nolte to, I think Francis Martel was the first Breitbart reporter that this show ever talked to years ago. Talk about your staff for just a second and how good they are, man. I mean, we've talked to everybody from Oliver Lane to Nolte to Francis Martel to Carney. I could go on and on. Emma Jo Morris.
Exactly. And you're keying in on why I think the Fight Club is going to work for us is because I've been very fortunate. I've got to live a very interesting life. Of course, I work 24/7 every day to try to earn it, but I've been very fortunate to put myself in positions where I've got to do a lot of interesting things. And most of my staff has had the same experience or similar experiences. And I want our audience to get to know them because they're extraordinary people. And you get a little bit on the radio, but it's pretty rare when people ask personal questions or ask about your day-to-day.
Yeah.
And we will have more time for that because how does Frances Martel get to be who she is? She's truly brilliant. She's a trained lawyer. She went to Harvard.
She's a genius.
In terms of her personality. She also has categorical knowledge of like 150 countries on the planet. I mean, I don't understand how she does it. And I've talked to her 2-3 times a day, every day for years. So, I mean, and that is the type of thing that I would like to use Fight Club as an opportunity. But my staff is beyond belief. Our starting lineup, I would put against any newsroom on earth, bar none, in a pinch. There's just no way that any other newsroom in America has the top tier that I've got. And that's just a fact. It's just a fact. They have more resources. Their bottom tier maybe is strong because they have, I don't know, but my best people are the best around, bottom line.
Breitbart editor-in-chief Alex Marlo giving us another segment here. Can you stick around for one more segment? I want to get to all the Kamala Harris interview stuff. I want to get your opinions here. We'll do that right back with Alex after the news here on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Caught with drugs, 67 sunny in the circle. No rain to worry about when you check the radar. Low of 40 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:31. Fentanyl and cocaine, a couple of things police say they found on 3 men from Indianapolis this week. Here's John Herrick.
Greenfield Deputy Police Chief Charles McMichael says there was more than 42 grams of cocaine found in a vehicle, along with more than 16 grams of fentanyl shortly after they pulled them over on West US 40. As for how often they've seen fentanyl in Hancock County, McMichael says,
sometimes, we're seeing a lot of it. Sometimes we're not seeing too much of it. But, this stuff is incredibly dangerous, and very, very small amounts can kill a person. And that's what we're trying to combat here.
All 3 men are facing felony charges of some degree, while one of them is also charged with resisting arrest. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Libby German's older sister Kelsey took the stand during the second session of the Delphi trial today. She was shown a map of the trail that Abby and Libby were on in February, nearly 8 years ago. Kelsey's also explained where she dropped the girls off the day that they were killed. Richard Allen is the suspect accused of murdering those 2 girls. The defense is arguing that the timeline of when he was there and when the girls were there doesn't exactly add up. Evidence will be presented over about the next 4 weeks. The Biden administration is reacting to the death of a Hamas leader as a new opportunity to end the Israel-Hamas war. Here's Fox's Jennifer Griffin.
A young Israeli soldier who had served just 9 months in the Israeli army took out the October 7th mastermind while on a routine patrol. They had no idea it was Sinwar until a day later. But his death could be a turning point in the conflict. At least that is what the White House and Pentagon hope.
I told the Prime Minister of Israel yesterday, let's also make this moment an opportunity to seek a path to peace, a better future in Gaza without Hamas.
Now the release of the hostages remains in Hamas's hands.
Israel's asking Hamas fighters to put down their guns and release hostages in exchange for their lives. Is Donald Trump capable of handling another 4 years in office? That was the question posed by Vice President Kamala Harris while campaigning in Michigan today.
Being president of the United States is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world, and so we really do need to ask if he's exhausted being on the campaign trail. Is he fit to do the job?
Earlier today, Trump called Harris a loser, claiming she's canceled on a few events herself. If you're waiting until Election Day to vote, you have less than a month to make up your mind. Your tax dollars are going to help fund a new athletics center at IU Indianapolis. Athletic Director Luke Basso says the late Vice President of the Pacers, Jim Morris, had advocated for the project.
And, he was pushing up and every day until the end to make sure we got this happen. So we will honor Mr. Morris's legacy every day on our campus as we build this new arena.
The new building is going to have space for men's and women's basketball, volleyball, and the university's new athletics office. The project won't be done until 2026. Matt Bear's got eyes on the roads. What's going on?
Yeah, Harrison, looking downtown right now. Crash northbound 6570. It is a crash before Washington Street. It has the left lane shut down. We're stopped into the south split. Stopped on eastbound 70 from Holt Road because of that crash and that delay at eastbound 70 from Holt into the south split right now is running 47 minutes. Looking at southbound 465 on the west side, that is stop and go from Washington Street to Man Road. Inbound 65 closed for another 14 days at West Street. That's a downtown detour needing to happen as we exit at West Street and try to make our way to our favorite interstate on the downtown streets. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. There's still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Expect our cold night trend to continue into our Friday night with lows down in the upper 30s to low 40s. Saturday will be a beautiful and sunny day with highs in the lower 70s with lots of sunshine. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show. My name is Nigel. Alex Marlo sticking through here for a second segment. He is Breitbart's editor-in-chief. Okay, they just had a huge announcement this week, and we'll end with that again here in just a minute. But you had a chance to see Kamala Harris in the Fox interview with Bret Baier a couple of days ago. I'm going to steal something that I always heard you say during your radio show. I miss your radio show. Your 30,000-foot perspective on what you witnessed from Kamala Harris in that Fox interview a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was not a strong interview for her. I thought Bret Baier did a pretty good job, and his line of questioning was challenging. There weren't any softballs in there, which I appreciate. I wish he would have pointed out a little bit more that, they're literally calling him Hitler and trying to assassinate him.
Yes.
And so continuing to frame him as the enemy of the people is probably not good in terms of uniting the country. But other than that, he did very well. And she was, I thought, typical. I don't think she was noticeably worse than usual. I just don't think she's ever very good. She refuses to answer questions. She's incredibly evasive. She has nothing new to add. She can't articulate a clear plan. All she has that she's running on is she's not Donald Trump. She got noticeably irritated with Baier, which I thought was not a classy move. It also doesn't add up with her campaign of joy. And I don't think she helped herself in the slightest. I don't think she convinced one new voter to vote for her. Now, I might disagree with some characters on right-wing Twitter, and I don't know if it was so devastating that she's automatically going to lose now.
Right.
I don't think it was that level, but I don't think she picked up a single new vote, and I do think she's losing, and we've only got 3 weeks to go, so it was a fail for her.
So why did she do the interview? What can we glean from Kamala Harris going on Fox News of all places? I mean, she has been doing a media blitz lately, but Fox News specifically, can we learn anything?
I honestly think that's the right question. Why would she even bother? And it's clearly because she's losing. And all the indication that she's losing because, first of all the swing state polls are about tied with Trump with a slight edge. That's no good for her because you got to assume they're oversampling Democrats. Even some of the pollsters admit that. The national polls are pretty much deadlocked. That's terrible for Democrats because their electoral map is much worse. Just the nature of the electoral college favors Republicans at this moment. And so all of the media leaking that's going on suggests that she's having problems with key demographics that have not been issues in the past. Black males, that's going to put Georgia into question. Muslim Americans, that's going to put Michigan into question.
Yeah.
Union workers, that's going to put Pennsylvania into question. She's got some big problems. So she can't stay in the bunker. She's got to do something. So she's got to try something, and maybe her going on Fox News, maybe she pulls a rabbit out of her hat and doesn't do badly. I kind of don't hate it as a strategy if you've admitted to yourself we're losing and we need to shake up the race. The problem is she's not good in these environments. She's not that bright. And you guys have heard me say, I actually think Joe Biden was not a moron. He was not a dummy.
Yep.
Clearly, Obama, Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, other Democrat standard bearers are not dumb people. I don't agree with them on anything, but they're not dumb. She's kind of dumb. And I've been saying this for a long time. She can't hang in these environments. She can't go up against hotshots and be able to hold her own while also trying to channel all the talking points that have been fed to her by the campaign and her donor base, et cetera.
Oh, speaking...
So she's not going to succeed, but she has to try, and I kind of tip my cap to her, at least in that regard.
Speaking of talking points, this one drives me nuts. Brett Baer, I believe he opened up with immigration. And her answer was, speaking of talking points, well, which is a typical Dem argument. Well, we had an immigration bill, and Trump killed it. And that one, does that hold water for you in any way, shape, or form? I mean, Trump wasn't in power, and it was a bad bill.
Yeah, absolutely infuriating. It didn't solve the main problem that we have today, which is this parole pipeline, where people essentially get to go to a port of entry, sign the guest book, and then get released into the country. It's expansion of catch and release, and that does not go away in this bill, which makes it a impossible bill for any Republican worth his salt to sign. And so only one Republican is on board with it, Langford, who is another guy who I would love to get on an IQ test. I don't know what his problem is, but is clearly not the brightest bulb in the Senate. And absolutely infuriating, he gave them that talking point that it's a bipartisan bill. He should not be forgiven for that anytime soon. And it's a terrible, terrible, terrible bill, and anyone who would have signed it would have been a total fool.
Any advice? We're speaking with Breitbart editor-in-chief Alex Marlo. Any advice that you could give to Donald Trump? If you had Donald Trump's ear right now, what would you say to him? And how do you think his campaign is going compared to Kamala's?
Well, I will tell you, and you've been so generous to plug it for us, but on the Fight Club, I asked this exact question to John Nolte, our senior writer, who's my real-life godfather, and he gave 3 answers. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Those are the 3 answers. If he just keeps doing what he's doing, I think he's going to win this race. Look, they're going to try to cheat, and I'm not saying Dominion voting machines flipping. I'm saying
I understand.
With their vote by mail system, with their community organizing, with their lawfare, they're going to try to rig this election in one way or another. But I think Trump's in the driver's seat, and all he has to do is not blow it by doing anything reckless. The more J.D. Vance is out there, the more it's helping the campaign, so that should continue. The rallies have been good. They don't need to go on too long. Keep hammering those key issues, economy and immigration, and no new wars. He keeps repeating that stuff, and I think he's got it.
So it sounds like you have a good feeling going to the election here in a couple of weeks. We're speaking with Alex Marlo, Breitbart editor-in-chief. Huge announcement this week involving Breitbart, an evolution, if you will. Talk one more time about Breitbart Fight Club before we let you go.
Yeah, come join us. You'll get to know our people. You'll get behind-the-scenes insight into the news. You'll get deeper coverage that you can't even get on our front page, and it's going to be fun. It's fun over there, and it's a great way to support the people who, not just me. I mean, to this point, I'm not getting it doesn't affect my bottom line. This is just about pride in our work. Our work's incredible, and I think this is a better way to showcase it than ever before.
Find his work, Breitbart.com. He is longtime guest of the Hammer and Nigel Show, longtime guest of WIBC here in Indy. Breitbart editor-in-chief Alex Marlo, thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. We love Indy.
Beer Sample Friday next on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new Office of Environmental Justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget. Not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps. Or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
During Cybersecurity Awareness Month, beware of phishing scams. Choose LifeLock for comprehensive identity theft protection. Start your 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/cybersafety.
BW HVAC Plumbing and Electrical is here to make the fall cozy, comfortable, and hassle-free. Go to bplusw.com/radio to schedule your appointment today. B&W is your independent American Standard Air dealer.
The Home and Garden Show is on the road this weekend. Join Pat, Denny, and the gang this Saturday as they broadcast live from Builders Lumber in Shelbyville from 9 to 1 for the Builders Lumber Egg Fest from 93 WIBC.
Matt Bear, what's going on with traffic?
All right, Nigel, now we have a crash on eastbound 465 northeast side. It's before Allisonville Road. Blocking the left lane, stopping traffic to Westfield Boulevard. Crash cleanup continues downtown on northbound 6570. It is a crash before the Washington Street exit, blocking the left lane, stopping us into the south split. And then eastbound 70, because of that, is jammed from Holt Road into the south split right now, and that's a delay of 34 minutes. Southbound 65 closed at West Street for another 14 days for bridge maintenance. Traffic sponsored by Royal Spa. Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of their locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product. Discover more at royalspa.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
68 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Right now,
Hammer and Nigel present
beer sample.
Fry.
I got some beers. Let's drink them, huh?
Beers on sale, people. Come down, get you some.
Brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Free delivery within 75 miles. They just delivered some outstanding patio furniture a couple of months ago. We've been using all summer. We'll be using it all fall long. We got one of those solo stoves there out on the front porch, Ethan, that we're just going to have bonfires and sit on that Polywood outdoor furniture that he got for Spencer and the guys at Thompson Furniture got for us,
I can vividly picture the Nigel palatial manner that you have got with the nice masonry fire pit.
Oh, beautiful. Well, there's no it's a solo stove. I think it's one of those silver circular bonfire things that you set. That's pretty cool too. So you are filling in for Hammer, which is really cool because you brought us the beer for Beer Sample Friday. I really appreciate that. What are we drinking?
Went around the corner to Large Crimson Liquors, Big Red Liquors on, what is that, Pennsylvania Street?
Yeah.
And this is from Taxman Brewing Company. It's Belgian-inspired, an American-crafted farmhouse-style ale with clover honey, La Maison.
Yeah, Taxman in Barkersville. By the way, we this summer, I paid my first visit to Taxman, dropping my daughter off at Camp Allendale there in Trafalgar. It was a church camp. On our way, we stopped by a brewery. They have really, really, really good food there at Taxman there in Barkersville. So good choice.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers, Ethan. Cheers. Delicious.
Absolutely.
What is it called? La Maison?
La Maison, American farmhouse-style ale with clover honey. You get the honey on the back end. It's very smooth.
Oh, man, I love it. Thank you.
It's got the right hoppy complexion,
and you can find that at Taxman Brewing and along with other, liquor stores throughout the central Indy area. A new study found the best way to deal with hangovers.
What's that? Not drink?
That's pretty common. If you don't want a hangover, you probably just shouldn't drink. Or if you do, pop on a leaf. But this is saying exercise. But don't exercise while you're hungover. This study found people who don't work out much in general tend to have worse hangovers. They're milder for people who get at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise a week.
Well, this makes sense to me because if you sweat it all out, then you leave more room for the intake ahead of time.
Okay.
So yeah, that tracks.
You sleep better when you exercise, reducing inflammation, metabolism. So 30 minutes a week isn't bad.
No, not bad at all.
For what you do, your main job is rehabbing houses,
Correct.
right? That's physical activity. That's where you get your physical activity,
You're
right?
lifting blocks, you're hauling wood, you're screwing things in, you're smashing things apart sometimes. I mean, it really is a broad variety of things that you do from day to day, and I like that. I like the variety.
Coming up, more audio from the Al Smith dinner, which raises money for Catholic charities in New York. All the electoral candidates do that. All the electoral, both sides get together, have a big party, and roast each other. It's all in good fun. Yeah, Kamala wasn't there this year. Right, Jim Gaffigan was hosting, and Donald Trump put on a master class of how to roast. But Jim Gaffigan was the MC. Trump talks about Jim Gaffigan playing Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's running mate, right here in this clip.
I'd like to thank our MC this evening, Jim Gaffigan. Most recently, Jim has been playing Tim Walz on Saturday Night Live, and that'll be a very short gig, I hope, Jim. But it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say it.
This is Trump in his natural environment.
It really is. And I mean, somebody's writing those jokes for him, obviously. But it's not the writing, it's the delivery.
He's been around TV production.
Of course.
He's been around these Hollywood types. He's done it for decades. He's been on the silver screen and the small screen. He knows how to tell a joke.
I got one more here for. I got time for one more. You ready? This is Trump, the Al Smith Charity Dinner in New York, talking about some polling, and Kamala Harris. He even mentions big Gretch Whitmer.
All polls are indicating I'm leading big with the Catholic vote, as I should be. But I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer.
There's an explanation there.
That's not a pretty sight. But Catholics, please don't be too insulted by Kamala's absence. If the Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden.
Isn't that great?
That's phenomenal.
We have much more of that audio coming up. So much fun. Another hour of the Hammer and Nigel show. Up next, it's Ethan Hatcher in for Hammer. My name is Nigel. Happy Beer Sample Friday, everybody. Mark Dietel, the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. And here's what Ray in Indianapolis said. I needed to move in a hurry. I was out the door into a new home, but left with a big problem of selling my old home. And with 2 mortgage payments, that was a problem. I heard Mark Dietel was the answer. I heard right. Was ecstatic when Mark sold my home for the price I needed in 2 days on the market.
Mark Dietel is the only real estate agent that we trust and recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel show. And it's because of the guarantee. The guarantee is a game changer. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietel today, 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com.
Great place to go for car care. Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment